No.
All right, with this, honey, I put the speakers on.
Are
you okay that I put the speakers on? Because it's
yes.
audience.
All right, folks, we are recording and we are streaming live to YouTube. Welcome to the Instant Shakespeare Company reading of Titus and Andronicus. And so I will be handing this over. Angus, I think what you will do is you will start us off with the act and the scene, and everybody ready to get. Actually, no. What we need to do is we need to
go through everybody.
But because let's see, I think
if you'd all care to introduce yourselves in order, Mark.
Yes, I'm Mark. Mark Gehring is my name.
I'm playing Titus Andronicus. Introduce themselves. I will read your name. And then you will mute your audio and your video. Just a reminder, folks, when you are not in a scene, please keep yourself muted and also stop your video. That way, if you are viewing the gallery and you hide non-video participants, then only those who are in the scene are visible to those who are observing. So and it is also really good to remember to mute yourself, mute your audio when you are not on. All right, so I'm going to go through names, and if you can just introduce yourself and also the various parts you will be playing. I'll start with myself, Marin Sugarman. I'm playing Lavinia, a captain, public people, and some other smaller roles, and the nurse, because I begged for that. All right, and so if we could have, I'm just going to go down in the order that I have it. Ken, can you introduce yourself?
Ken Wayne. I'm doing Demetrius and several other.
Well, wait a minute.
You can't hear me?
They can. I probably can't. Oh, there you are.
Okay. I just wanted to mention, since I don't have.
I'm sorry, I have to go to my other computer because this one is Michigan.
God.
What were you saying, Ken?
Well, since I don't have a physical copy and I'm following along by PDF, I have to switch over to that. I cannot stop my video or mute myself.
Here we
go. Or then I have to go back and
we'll work on it.
All right, Ken, you introduce yourself, I assume.
Yes, I did. Ken Wayne, Demetrius,
Hello?
And a few other. And yes, can you hear me?
Can't I hear?
I hear you breaking up a bit.
Okay, I think I'm back. Are we having trouble hearing Ken?
No, he's fine.
Am I audible now?
Yeah.
Everyone can hear me?
Mm-hmm. It's a little bit in and out.
He always had problems with his internet, though.
Yeah, just trying to explain that I can't mute myself or stop the video while I'm following along with the PDF, but I'm going to be as quiet as a mouse, and I'm going to try not to get completely naked in front of the screen.
Oh, spoil sport.
I highly recommend taking either an index card or a business card and folding it, and if you fold it like so and just put it over your camera, it'll block the camera.
Just bring your laptop screen down if your camera's on your screen.
I'll do that.
Well, but if he's following the PDF, he can't do that. So,
all right.
Yeah,
you can't do that,
if you put a little.
You don't have a stop video button?
But. Okay, so onwards and upwards, folks. All right, yeah. Angus, will you introduce yourself?
Hi, Angus Eppan, reading Marcus Andronicus, Titus, his brother, and I'll be covering the stage directions.
Awesome. Michael Gardner.
Hello, I'm Michael E. Gardner, and I'm playing Saturninus, Saturninus or Saturninus. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Saturninus.
Saturninus is my first impression, but I wasn't sure.
That's it.
Thank you.
Thea?
Hi, Thea Stefan playing Tamara. Yay.
Anton?
I'm Anton Spivak. I'm playing Chiron.
Karen?
I'm Karen Gorney, and I am playing Lucius.
Thank you, Mark.
Hello, all. Some of you know me. I'm Mark Gehring. I'm reading Titus Andronicus today. Thanks, Paul.
Wonderful. And Emery.
Hi, I'm Emery. I'm reading Aaron.
And David.
Unmute.
Oh, you're muted. Oops. There he is.
My name is David Kelly. I'm reading Bassianus and young Lucius the boy.
Awesome. All right. Have we all introduced ourselves?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Fantastic, my friends. And so now we will all stop video unless we are in the scene, and Angus will start us off with the beginning of the show. And break legs, folks. Have fun.
You too.
Thank you. The lamentable tragedy of Titus Andronicus. Actus primus sine prima. Flourish. Enter the tribunes and senators aloft, and then enter Saturninus and his followers at one door, and Basanius and his followers at the other, with drum and colours.
Noble patricians, patrons of my right, defend the justice of my cause with arms. And countrymen, my loving followers, plead my successive title with your swords. I was the firstborn son that was the last that wore the imperial diadem of Rome. Then let my father's honors live in me, nor wrong mine age with this indignity.
Romans, friends, followers, favors of my right. If ever Bassianus, Caesar's son, were gracious in the eyes of royal Rome, keep then this passage to the Capitol, and suffer not dishonor to approach the imperial seat to virtue, consecrate to justice, continence, and nobility, but let desert by pure election shine, desert by pure election shine, and Romans fight for freedom in your choice.
Enter Marcus Andronicus aloft with the crown.
Princes that strive by factions and by friends ambitiously for rule and empery, know that the people of Rome, for whom we stand a special party, have by common voice in election for the Roman emperor chosen Andronicus, surnamed Pius, for many good and great deserts to Rome. A nobler man, a braver warrior, lives not this day within the city walls. He by the Senate is excited home from weary wars against the barbarous Goths, that with his sons, a terror to our foes, hath yoked the nation strong, trained up in arms. 10 years I spent since first he undertook this cause of Rome, and chastised with arms our enemies' pride. 5 times he hath returned bleeding to Rome, bearing his valiant sons in coffins from the field. And now, at last, laden with honor's spoils, and returns the good Andronicus to Rome, renowned Titus, flourishing in arms. Let us entreat be by honor of his name, whom worthily you would have now succeed, and in the Capitol and Senate's right, whom you pretend to honor and adore, that you withdraw you and abate your strength, dismiss your followers, and as suitors should, plead your deserts in peace and humbleness.
How fair the tribune speaks to calm my thoughts.
Marcus Andronicus, so I do offer in thy uprightness and integrity, and so I love and honor thee and thine, thy noble brother Titus, and his sons, and her to whom my thoughts are humbled all, gracious Lavinia, Rome's rich ornament, that I will here dismiss my loving friends, and to my fortunes and the people's favor commit my cause in the balance to be weighed.
Exit the soldiers.
Friends that have been thus forward in my right, I thank you all and here dismiss you all. And to the love and favor of my country, commit myself, my person, and the cause, Rome me be as just and gracious unto me as I am confident and kind to thee. Open the gates and let me in.
Tribunes, and me, a poor competitor.
Flourish. They go up to the Senate House. Enter a captain.
Romans, make way. The good Andronicus, patron of virtue, Rome's best champion, successful in the battles that he fights, with honor and with fortune is returned, from whence he circumscribed with his sword and brought to yoke the enemies of Rome.
Sound drums and trumpets, and then enter 2 of Titus' sons. After them, 2 men bearing a coffin covered with black, then 2 other sons. After them, Titus, Andronicus, and then Tamara, the queen of Goths, and her 2 sons, Chiron and Demetrius, with Aaron the Moor, and others, as many as can be. They set down the coffin, and Titus speaks.
Hail, Rome, victorious in thy morning weeds. Lo, as the bark that hath discharged his fraught returns with precious lading to the bay from whence at first she weared her anchorage. Commenceth Andronicus bound with laurel bows to resalute his country with his tears, tears of true joy for his return to Rome. Thou great defender of this capital, stand gracious to the rights that we intend. Romans, of 25 valiant sons, half of the number that King Priam had, behold, the poor remains alive and dead. These that survive, let Rome reward with love. These that I bring unto their latest home, with burial amongst their ancestors. Here Goths have given me leave to sheathe my sword. Titus, unkind and careless of thine own kind, why sufferest thou thy sons unburied yet to hover on the dreadful shore of Styx? Make way to lay them by their brethren. There greet in silence as the dead are wont, and sleep in peace, slain in your country's wars. O sacred receptacle of my joys, sweet cell of virtue and nobility, how many sons of mine hast thou in store that thou wilt never render to me more?
We have a Lucius. Lucius. That's Karen. I think that's you. Oh, Karen, you're muted.
Okay, sorry. Give us the proudest prisoner of the Goths, that we may hew his limbs and on a pile ad manus fratum sacrifice his flesh before this earthly prison of their bones, so that the shadows may not unappeased nor disturbed with prodigies on earth.
I give you him, the noblest that survives, the eldest son of this distressed queen.
Stay, Roman brethren, gracious conqueror. Victorious Titus, rue the tears I shed, a mother's tears in passion for her son. And if thy sons were ever dear to thee, oh, think my sons to be as dear to me. Suffices not that we are brought to Rome to beautify thy triumphs and return captive to thee and to thy Roman yoke, but must my sons be slaughtered in the streets for valiant doings in their country's cause? Oh, if to fight for king and commonweal were piety in thine, it is in these. Andronicus, stain not thy tomb with blood. Wilt thou draw near the nature of the gods? Draw near them then in being merciful. Sweet mercy is nobility's true badge. Thrice noble Titus, spare my firstborn son.
Patience yourself, madam, and pardon me. These are the brethren whom you Goths beheld alive and dead, and for their brethren slain. Religiously they ask a sacrifice. To this your son is marked, and die he must. to appease their groaning shadows that are gone.
Away with him, and make a fire straight, and our swords upon a pile of wood. Let's hew his limbs till they be clean consumed.
Oh, cruel, irreligious piety.
Was ever Scythia half so barbarous?
Oppose me, Scythia, to ambitious Rome. Alarbus goes to rest, and we survive to tremble under Titus' threatening looks. Then stand resolved, but hope withal the self-same gods that armed the Queen of Troy with opportunity of sharp revenge upon the Thracian tyrants in his tent may favor Tamara, the Queen of Goths, when Goths were Goths and Tamara was queen, to quit the bloody wrongs upon her foes.
Enter the sons of Andronicus again.
See, Lord and Father, how we have performed our Roman rites. Alarbus' limbs are lopped, and entrails feed the sacrificing fire. Cold smoke like incense doth perfume the sky. Remaineth naught but to inter our brethren, and with Lord Larums welcome them to Rome.
Let it be so, and let Andronicus make this his latest farewell to their souls.
Flourish, then sound trumpets, and lay the coffins in the tomb.
In peace and honor rest you here, my sons, Rome's readiest champions. Repose you here in rest, secure from worldly chances and mishaps. Here lurks no treason, here no envy swells, here grow no damned grudges, here are no storms, no noise, but silence and eternal sleep. In peace and honor rest you here, my sons.
Enter Lavinia.
In peace and honor live Lord Titus long. My noble lord and father, live in fame. Lo, at this tomb, my tributary tears I render for my brethren's obsequies, and at thy feet I kneel with tears of joy, shed on the earth for thy return to Rome. Oh, bless me here with thy victorious hand, whose fortune Rome's best citizens applaud.
Kind Rome, that hast thus lovingly reserved the cordial of mine age to glad my heart. Lavinia, live, outlive thy father's days, and fame's eternal date, for virtue's praise.
Long live Lord Titus, my beloved brother, gracious triumpher in the eyes of Rome.
Thanks, gentle tribune, noble brother Marcus.
And welcome, nephews from successful wars, you that survive and you that sleep in fame. Fair lords, your fortunes are all alike in all, that in your country's service drew your swords. But safer triumph is this funeral pomp that hath aspired to Solon's happiness and triumphs over chance in honour's bed. Titus Andronicus, the people of Rome, whose friend in justice thou hast ever been, send thee by me their tribune and their trust, this parliament of white and spotless hue, and name thee in election for the empire with these our late deceased emperor's sons. Be candidatus then, and put it on, and help to set a head on headless Rome.
A better head her glorious body fits than his that shakes for age and feebleness. What should I don this robe and trouble you, be chosen with proclamations today, tomorrow yield up rule, resign my life, and set abroad new business for you all? Rome, I have been thy soldier 40 years, and led my country's strength successfully, and buried 21 valiant sons, knighted in field, slain manfully in arms, in right and service of their noble country. Give me a staff of honor for mine age, but not a scepter to control the world. Upright he held it, lords, that held it last.
Titus, thou shalt obtain and ask the empery.
Proud and ambitious, tribune, canst thou tell?
Patience, Prince Saturnius.
Romans, do me right. Patricians, draw your swords and sheath them not till Saturninus be Rome's emperor. Andronicus, would thou were shipped to hell rather than rob me of the people's hearts.
Proud
Saturnine, interpreter of the good that noble-minded Titus means to thee.
Content thee, Prince, I will restore to thee the people's hearts and wean them from themselves.
Andronicus, I do not flatter thee, but honor thee, and will do till I die. My faction, if thou strengthen with thy friend, I will most thankful be, and thanks to men of noble minds is honorable meed.
People of Rome and noble tribunes here, I ask your voices and your suffrages, will you bestow them friendly on Andronicus?
To gratify the good Andronicus and gratulate his safe return to Rome, the people will accept whom he admits.
Tribunes, I thank you, and this sure I make, that you create your emperor's eldest son, Lord Saturnine, whose virtues will, I hope, reflect on Rome as Titans raise on earth, and ripen justice in this commonweal. Then, if you will elect by my advice, crown him and say, long live our emperor.
With voices and applause of every sort, patricians and plebeians, we create Lord Saturninus, Rome's great emperor, and say, long live our emperor Saturnine. Long flourish until they come down.
Titus Andronicus, for thy favors done, to give us in our election this day, I give thee thanks in my part of thy deserts, and will with deeds requite thy gentleness, and for an onset, Titus, to advance thy name and honorable family, Lavinia will I make my empress, Rome's royal mistress, mistress of my heart, and in the sacred pattern her espouse. Tell me, Andronicus, does this motion please thee?
It doth, my worthy lord, and in this match I hold me highly honored of your grace, and here in sight of Rome, to Saturnine, king and commander of our commonweal, the wide world's emperor, do I consecrate my sword, my chariot, and my prisoners, presents well worthy Rome's imperial lord. Receive them then the tribute that I owe, mine honors ensigns humbled at my feet.
Thanks, noble Titus, father of my life. How proud I am of thee and of thy gifts. Rome shall record, and when do I forget the least of these unspeakable deserts? Romans, forget your fealty to me.
Now, madam, are you prisoner to an emperor, to him that for your honor and your state will use you nobly and your followers?
A goodly lady, trust me of the hue that I would choose were I to choose anew. Clear up, fair queen, that cloudy countenance. Though chance of war has fraught this change of cheer, thou comest not be made a scorn in Rome. Princely shall be the usage every day. Rest on my word, and let not discontent daunt all your hopes. Madam, he comforts you, can make you greater than the queen of Goths. Lavinia, you are not displeased with this.
Not I, my lord, sith true nobility warrants these words in princely courtesy.
Thanks, sweet Lavinia. Romans, let us go. Ransomless here, we set our prisoners free, proclaim our honors, lords, and trump and drum.
Lord Titus, by your leave, this maid is mine.
How, sir? Are you in earnest then, my lord?
I, noble Titus, and resolved withal to do myself this reason and this right.
Suum sequam is our Roman justice. This prince in justice sees this but his own.
And that he will and shall if Lucius live.
Traitors, avaunt! Where is the emperor's guard? Treason, my lord! Lavinia is surprised.
Surprised? By whom?
By him that justly may bear his betrothed from all the world away.
Brothers help to convey her hence away, and with my sword I'll keep this door safe.
Follow, my lord, and I'll soon bring her back.
My lord, you pass not here.
What villain boy bars me my way in Rome?
Help, Lucius, help!
My lord, you are unjust, and more than so in wrongful quarrel you have slain your son.
Nor thou, nor he, and any sons of mine. My sons would never so dishonor me. Traitor, restore Lavinia to the emperor.
Dead, if you will, but not to be his wife. That's another's lawful promise, love.
Enter aloft the emperor with Tamara and her 2 sons and Aaron the Moor.
No, Titus, no.
That's you,
Saturninus.
Saturninus, since you're emperor now. Michael?
No, Titus, no. The emperor needs her not. Nor her, nor thee, nor any of thy stock. I'll trust by leisure him that mocks me once, thee never, nor thy traitorous haughty sons, confederates all, thus to dishonor me. Was none in Rome to make a stale but Saturnine? Farewell, Andronicus. Agree these deeds with that proud brag of thine that says I beg the emperor at thy hands.
Oh, monstrous, what reproachful words are these?
But go thy ways. Go give that changing piece to him that flourished for her with his sword. A valiant son-in-law thou shalt enjoy, one fit to bandy with thy lawless sons to ruffle in the commonwealth of Rome.
These words are razors to my wounded heart.
And therefore, lovely Tamara, queen of Goths, that like the stately Thebe mongst her nymphs doth overshine the gallant dames of Rome, if thou be pleased with this my sudden choice, behold, I choose thee, Tamara, for my bride, and will create thee Empress of Rome. Speak, Queen of Goths, dost thou applaud my choice? And here I swear by all the Roman gods, since priests and holy water are so near, and tapers burn so bright, and everything in readiness for Hymena's stand, I will not resolute the streets of Rome or climb my palace till from forth this place I lead a spouse, my bride, along with me.
And here, in sight of heaven, to Rome I swear, if Saturnine advance the Queen of Goths, she will a handmaid be to his desires, a loving nurse, a mother to his youth.
Ascend, fair queen. Corinthian lords, accompany your noble emperor and his lovely bride, sent by the heavens for Prince Saturnine, whose wisdom hath her fortune conquered. There shall we consummate our spousal rights.
Exeunt omnes except for Titus.
I am not bid to wait upon this bride. Titus, when wert thou wont to walk alone, dishonored thus and challenged of wrongs?
Enter Marcus and Titus' sons. Oh, Titus, see! Oh, see what thou hast done. In a bad quarrel, slain a virtuous son.
No, foolish Tribune, no. No son of mine. Nor thou, nor these confederates in the deed that hath disowned all our family. Unworthy brother and unworthy sons.
But let us give him burial as becomes. Give mutinous burial with our brethren.
Traitors away! He rests not in this tomb. This monument 500 years hath stood, which I have sumptuously re-edified. Here none but soldiers and Rome's servitors repose in fane. None basely slain in brawls. Bury him where you can. He comes not here.
My lord, this is impiety in you. My nephew Mutius needs to plead for him. He must be buried with his brethren. Titus' 2 sons speaks.
And shall, or him we will accompany.
And shall, what villain was it spake that word?
Titus' son speaks.
He that would vouch it in any place but here.
What, would you bury him in my despite?
No, noble Titus, but entreat of thee to pardon Mutius and to bury him.
Marcus, even thou hast stroke upon my crest. and with these boys mine honor thou hast wounded. My foes, I do repute you every one. So trouble me no more, but get you gone.
He is not himself. Let us withdraw.
Not I tell Mutius' bones be buried.
The brother and the sons kneel. Brother, for in that name doth nature plead.
Father, in that name doth nature speak.
Speak thou no more, and if all the rest will speed.
Renowned Titus, more than half my soul.
Dear father, soul and substance of us all.
Suffer thy brother Marcus to inter his noble nephew here in virtue's nest, that died in honour and Lavinia's cause. Thou art a Roman. Be not barbarous. The Greeks upon advice did bury Ajax, that slew himself, and Laertes' son did graciously plead for his funerals. Let not young Mutius then, that was thy joy, be barred his entrance here.
Rise, Marcus, rise. The dismalest day is this that e'er I saw, to be dishonored by my sons in Rome. Well, bury him and bury me the next.
They put him in the tomb.
There lie thy bones, sweet Mutius, and with thy friends, till we with trophies do adorn thy tomb.
They all kneel and say,
No man shed tears for noble Mutius. He lives in fame that did in virtue's cause.
Exit. My lord, to step out of these sudden dumps. How comes it that the subtle queen of Goths is of a sudden thus advanced in Rome?
I know not, Marcus, but I know it is. Whether by device or no, the heavens can tell. Is she not then beholding to the man that brought her for this high good turn so far? Yes, and will nobly him remunerate.
Flourish. Enter the Emperor Tamara and her 2 sons, with the Moor at one door. Enter at the other door Basanius and Lavinia, with others.
So, Basanius, you have played your prize. God give you joy, sir, of your gallant bride.
And you of yours, my lord, I say no more, no wish no less, and so I take my leave.
Traitor, if Rome have law, or we have power, thou and thy faction shall repent this rape.
Rape, call it you, my lord, to cease my own, my true betrothed love, and now my wife? But let the laws of Rome determine all. Meanwhile, I am possessed of that is mine.
'Tis good, sir. You are very sharp with us, that if we live, we'll be as sharp with you.
My lord, what have I done as best I may? Answer what I must, and shall do with my life. Only thus much I give your grace to know. By all the duties that I owe to Rome, this noble gentleman, Lord Titus here, is in opinion and in honor wronged, that in the rescue of Lavinia, with his own hand did slay his youngest son, in zeal to you, and highly moved to wrath, to be controlled in that he frankly gave. Receive him then to favor Saturnine, that thou expressed himself in all his deeds, a father and a friend to thee, and Rome.
Prince Bastianus, leave to plead my deeds. 'Tis thou in those that have dishonored me. Rome and the righteous heavens be my judge, how I have loved and honored Saturnine.
My worthy lord, if ever Tamara were gracious in those princely eyes of thine, then hear me speak indifferently for all, and at my suit, sweet, pardon what is past.
What, madam, be dishonored openly and basely put it up without revenge?
Not so, my lord. The gods of Rome forfend I should be author to dishonor you. But on my honor dare I undertake for good Lord Titus innocence in all, whose fury not dissembled speaks his griefs. Then at my suit look graciously on him, Lose not so noble a friend on vain suppose, nor with sour looks afflict his gentle heart. My lord, be ruled by me, be won at last. Dissemble all your griefs and discontents. You are but newly planted in your throne. Least then the people and patricians too, upon a just survey, take Titus' part. And so supplant us for ingratitude, which Rome reputes to be a heinous sin. Yield at entreats, and then let me alone. I'll find a day to massacre them all, and race their faction and their family, the cruel father and his traitor sons, to whom I sued for my dear son's life, and make them know what 'tis to let a queen kneel in the streets and beg for grace in vain. Come, come, sweet emperor, come, Andronicus, take up this good old man, and cheer the heart that dies in tempest of thy angry frown.
Rise, Titus, rise. My empress has prevailed.
I thank your majesty, and her, my lord. These words, these looks, infuse new life in me.
Titus, I am incorporate in Rome, a Roman now, adopted happily, and must advise the emperor for his good. This day all quarrels die, Andronicus, and let it be mine honor, good my lord, that I have reconciled your friends and you. For you, Prince Bassianus, I have passed my word and promised to the emperor that you will be more mild and tractable. And fear not, lords, and you, Lavinia, by my advice, all humbled on your knees, you shall ask pardon of his majesty.
We do, and vow to heaven and to his highness that what we did was mildly as we might, tendering our sister's honor and our own.
That on mine honor here I do protest.
Away and talk not, trouble us no more.
Nay, nay, sweet emperor, we must all be friends. The tribune and his nephews kneel for grace. I will not be denied. Sweetheart, look back.
Marcus, for thy sake and thy brothers here, and at my lovely Tamara's entreats, I do remit these young men's heinous faults. Stand up, Lavinia. Though you like a churl, though you left me like a churl, I found a friend. And sure as death, I swear I would not part a bachelor from the priest. Come, if the emperor's court can feast two brides, you are my guests, Lavinia, and your friends. This day shall be a love day, Tamara.
Tomorrow, and it please your majesty, to hunt the panther and the hart with me. With horn and hound, we'll give your grace. Bonjour.
Be it so, and gramercy too.
Excellent. Actus secunda. Flourish, enter Aaron alone.
Now climbeth Tamara Olympus' top, safe out of fortune's shot and sits aloft, secure of thunder's crack or lightning flash, advanced about pale envy's threatening reach, as when the golden sun salutes the morn, and having gilt the ocean with his beams, gallops the zodiac in his glistering coach, and overlooks the highest peering hills. So Tamara, upon her wit doth early hour honor wait, and virtue stoops and trembles at her frown. Then, Aaron, arm thy heart and fit thy thoughts to mount aloft with thy emperor mistress, and mount her pitch, whom with thou in triumph long hast prisoner held, fettered in amorous chains, and faster bound to Aaron's charming eyes than is Prometheus tied to Caucasus. Away with slavish weeds and idle thoughts, I will be bright and shine in pearl and gold, to wait upon this new-made empress. To wait, said I, to wanton with this queen, this goddess, this Semiramis, this queen, this siren that will charm Rome's Saturnine, and see his shipwreck and his common wheels. Hello? What storm is this?
Chiron, thy years wants wit, thy wit wants edge and manners to intrude where I am graced, and may for aught thou knowst affected be.
Okay. Oh, Demetrius, thou dost overween in all, and so in this to bear me down of graves, 'tis not the difference of a year or two makes me less gracious, or thee more fortunate. I am able, and as fit as thou, to serve and to deserve my mistress's grace, and that my sword upon thee shall approve and plead my passions for Lavinia's love.
Clubs, these lovers will never keep the peace.
Why, boy, although our mother unadvised gave you a dancing rapier by your side, are you so desperate grown to threat your friends? Go to, have your lath glued within your sheath, till you know better how to handle it.
Meanwhile, sir, with a little skill I have, full well shalt thou perceive how much I dare.
Aye, boy, grow ye so brave?
They draw swords.
Why, how now, lords? So near the emperor's palace dare you draw and maintain such a quarrel openly? Full well I wot the ground of this grudge. I would not for 1,000,000 of gold the cause were known to them in most concerns, nor would your noble mother, much more, be so dishonored in the court of Rome. For shame put up.
Not I, till I have sheathed my rapier in his bosom, and withal thrust these reproachful speeches down his throat that he hath breathed in my dishonor here.
For that I am prepared and full resolved, foul-spoken coward, that thunderest with thy tongue, and with thy weapon nothing darest perform.
Away, I say. Now by the gods that warlike Goths adore, this pretty brabble will undo us all. Why, lords, and think you not how dangerous it is to set upon a prince's right? What is Lavinia then become so loose, or Bassanio so degenerate, that for her love such quarrels may broach without controlment, justice, or revenge? Young lords, beware, and should the empress know this discord ground, this music would not please.
I care not, I knew she in all the world. I love Lavinia more than all the world.
Youngling, learn thou to make some meaner choice. Lavinia is thine elder brother's hope.
Why are ye mad? Or know ye not in Rome how furious and patient they be, and cannot brook competitors in love? I tell you, lords, you do but plot your deaths by this devise.
Ere in 1,000 deaths would I propose to achieve her whom I love.
To achieve her how?
Why, makest thou it so strange? She is a woman, therefore may be wooed. She is a woman, therefore may be won. She is Lavinia, therefore must be loved. What, man, more water glideth by the mill than wot's the miller of? And easy it is of a cut loaf to steal a shive, we know, though Basanius be the emperor's brother, better than he have worn Vulcan's badge.
I, and as good as Saturninus may.
Then why should he despair that knows to court it with words, fair looks, and liberality? What hast not thou full often struck a doe, and borne her cleanly by keeper's nose?
Why then it seems some certain snatch or so would serve your turns.
I so the turn were served.
Aaron, thou hast hit it.
Would you had hit it too? Then should not be tired with this ado. Why hark ye, and are you such fools to square for this? Would it offend you then?
Faith not me.
Nor me, so I were one.
For shame, and be friends, and join for that you jar. 'Tis policy and stratagem must do, that you affect, and so must you resolve, that what you cannot as you would achieve, you must perforce accomplish as you may. Take this of me, Lucrece was not more chaste than this Lavinia, Basinius' love. A speedier course this lingering languishment must we pursue, and I have found the path. My lords, a solemn hunting is in hand. There will the lovely Roman ladies troop. The forest walks are wide and spacious, and many unfrequented plots there are, fitted by kind of for rape and villainy. Single you thither then this dainty doe, and strike her home by force, if not by words. This way or not at all, stand you in hope. Come, or our empress with her sacred wit, to villainy and vengeance consecrate, will we acquaint with all that we intend, and she shall file our engines with advise, that will not suffer you to square yourselves, but to your wishes' height advance you both. The emperor's court is like the house of fame, the palace full of tongues, of eyes and ears. The woods are ruthless, dreadful, deaf, and dull. There speak and strike brave boys and take your turns. There serve your lust shadowed from heaven's eye and revel in Lavinia's treasury.
Thy counsel, lad, smells of no cowardice.
Sit fuss out nefus till I find the streams to cool this heat, a charm to calm their fits, for Stygia per manus veor.
Excellent. Act 2, Scene 2. Enter Titus Andronicus with his 3 sons, making a noise with hounds and horns, and Marcus.
The hunt is up, the morning is bright and grey, the fields are fragrant and the woods are green. Uncouple here and let us make a bay, and wake the emperor and his lovely bride, and rouse the prince, and ring a hunter's peal that all the court may echo with the noise. Sons, let it be your charge, as it is ours, to attend the emperor's person carefully. I have been troubled in my sleep this night, but dawning day new comfort hath inspired.
Wind horns, hear a cry of hounds, and wind horns in a peal. Then enter Saturninus, Tamara, Bassianus, Lavinia, Chiron, Demetrius, and their attendants.
Many good morrows to your majesty, madam, to you as many and as good. I promised your grace a hunter's peal.
And you have rung it lustily, my lords, somewhat too early for new married ladies.
Lavinia, how say you?
I say no. I have been awake 2 hours and more.
Oh, come on then. Horse and chariots let us have, and to our sport, madam, now shall you see our Roman hunting.
I have dogs, my lord, will rouse the proudest panther in the chase and climb the highest promontory top.
And I have horse will follow where the game makes way and runs like swallows o'er the plain.
Chiron, we hunt not we with horse nor hound, but hope to pluck a dainty doe to the ground.
Excellent. Act 2, Scene 3. Enter Aaron alone.
He that had wit would think that I had none, to bury so much gold under a tree and never after to inherit it. Let him that thinks of me so abjectly know that this gold must coin a stratagem, which cunningly effected will beget a very excellent piece of villainy, and so repose sweet gold for their unrest, that have their alms out of the empress's chest.
Enter Tamara to the moor.
My lovely Aaron, why for look'st thou sad, when everything doth make a gleeful boast? The birds chant melody on every bush, the snake lies rolled in the cheerful sun, the green leaves quiver with the cooling wind and make a checkered shadow on the ground. Under their sweet shade, Aaron, let us sit, and whilst the babbling echo mocks the hounds, replying shrilly to the well-tuned horns, as if a double hunt were heard at once, let us sit down and mark their yelping noise, and after conflict such as was supposed the wandering prince and Dido once enjoyed, when with a happy storm they were surprised, and curtained with a counsel-keeping cave, we may each wreathed in the other's arms, our pastimes done, possess a golden slumber, while hounds and horns and sweet melodious birds be unto us as is a nurse's song of lullaby to bring her babe asleep.
Madam, no Venus govern your desires. Saturn is denominator over mine, which signifies my deadly standing eye, my silence, and my cloudy melancholy, my fleece of woolly hair that now uncurls, even as an adder when she doth unroll to do some fatal execution. No, madam, these are no venereal signs, Vengeance is in my heart, death in my hand. Blood and revenge are hammering in my head. Hark, Tamara, the empress of my soul, which never hopes more heaven than rest in thee. This is the day of the doom for Bassianus. His Philomel must loose her tongue today. Thy sons make pillage of her chastity and wash their hands in Basinius' blood. Cease thou this letter, take it up, I pray thee, and give the king this fatal plotted scrawl. Now question me no more, we are espied. Here comes a parcel of our hopeful booty, which dreads not yet their lives' destruction.
Enter Basanius and Lavinia.
My sweet Moor, sweeter to me than life.
No more, great empress, Basinius comes. Be cross with him, and I'll go fetch thy sons. To back thy quarrel whatsoe'er they be.
Whom have we here? Rome's royal empress, unfurnished of our well-beseeming troop? Or is it Dian habited like her, who hath abandoned her holy groves to see the general hunting in this forest?
Saucy controller of our private steps, had I the power some say Dian had, thy temple should be planted presently with horns, as was Actaeon's, and the hound should drive upon his new transformed limbs, unmannerly intruder as thou art.
Under your patience, gentle empress, 'tis thought you have a goodly gift in horning, and to be doubted that your Moor and you are singled forth to try experiments. Jove shield your husband from his hounds today. 'Tis pity they should take him for a stag.
Believe me, queen, your swarth Cimmerian doth make your honor of his body's hue. Spotted, detested, and abominable, why are you sequestered from all your train, dismounted from your snow-white goodly steed, and wandered hither to an obscure plot, accompanied with a barbarous Moor, if foul desire had not conducted you?
And being intercepted in your sport, great reason that my noble lord be rated. For sauciness I pray you, let us hence, and let her joy her raven-colored love. This valley fits the purpose passing well.
King my brother shall here have notice of this.
Aye, for these slips have made him noted long. Good king to be so mightily abused.
Why, I have patience to endure all this.
Enter Chiron and Demetrius.
How now, dear sovereign and our gracious mother, why doth your highness look so pale and wan?
Have I not reason, think you, to look pale? These two have ticed me hither to this place, a barren, detested vale, you see it is. The trees, though summer, yet forlorn and lean, are o'ercome with moss and baleful mistletoe. Here never shines the sun, here nothing breeds, unless the nightly owl or fatal raven. And when they showed me this abhorred pit, they told me here at dead time of the night, 1,000 fiends, 1,000 hissing snakes, 10,000 swelling toads, as many urchins would make such fearful and confused cries as any mortal body hearing it should straight fall mad, or else die suddenly. No sooner had they told this hellish tale, but straight they told me they would bind me here unto the body of a dismal ewe, and leave me to this miserable death. And then they called me foul adulteress, lascivious Goth, and all the bitterest terms that ever ear did hear to such effect. And had you not by wondrous fortune come, this vengeance on me had they executed. Revenge it as you love your mother's life, or be ye not henceforth called my children.
This is a witness that I am thy son.
And stabs him.
And this for me.
And as for this for me, struck home to show my strength.
I come, Semiramis. Nay, barbarous Tamara, for no name fits thy nature but thine own.
Give me thy poniard, you shall know my boys. Your mother's hand shall right your mother's wrong.
Stay, madam. Here is more belongs to her. First thrash the corn, then after burn the straw. This minion stood upon her chastity, upon her nuptial vow, her loyalty. And with that painted hope raise your mightiness. And shall she carry this unto her grave?
And if she do, I were a eunuch, drag hence her husband to some secret hole, and make his dead trunk pillow to our lust.
But when ye have the honey we desire, let not this wasp outlive us both to sting.
I warrant you, madam, we will make that sure. Come, mistress, now perforce we will enjoy that nice preserved honesty of yours.
Oh, Tamara, thou bear'st a woman's face.
I will not hear her speak. Away with her.
Sweet lords, entreat her, hear me but a word.
Listen, fair madam, let it be your glory to see her tears, but be your heart to them as unrelenting flint to drops of rain.
When did the tiger's young ones teach the dam? Oh, do not learn her wrath, she taught it thee. The milk thou suck'st from her did turn to marble. Even at thy teat thou hadst thy tyranny, yet every mother breeds not sons alike. Do thou entreat her show a woman's pity.
What? Wouldst thou have me prove myself a bastard?
Oh, 'tis true. The raven doth not hatch a lark. Yet I have heard, oh, could I find it now, the lion moved with pity did endure to have his princely paws parled all away. Some say that raven fosters forlorn children, the whilst their own birds famish in their nests. Oh, be to me, though thy hard heart say no, nothing so kind, but something pitiful.
I know not what it means. Away with her.
Oh, let me teach thee for my father's sake, that gave thee life when he well might have slain thee. Be not obdurate, open thy deaf ears.
Hadst thou in person ne'er offended me, even for his sake am I pitiless. Remember, boys, I poured forth tears in vain to save your brother from the sacrifice, but fierce Andronicus would not relent. Therefore away with her, and use her as you will. The worse to her, the better loved of me.
Oh, Tamara, be called a gentle queen, and with thine own hands kill me in this place, for 'tis not life that I have begged so long. Poor I was slain when Basanius died.
What beggst thou then? Fond woman, let me go.
'Tis present death I beg, the one thing more, that womanhood denies my tongue to tell. Oh, keep me from their worse than killing lust, and tumble me into some loathsome pit, where never man's eye may behold my body. Do this, and be a charitable murderer.
So should I rob my sweet sons of their fee? No, let them satisfy their lust on thee.
Away, for thou hast stayed us here too long.
No grace, no womanhood. Ah, beastly creature, the blot and enemy to our general name, confusion fall.
Nay, I'll stop your mouth. Bring thou her husband. This is the hole where Aaron bid us hide him.
Farewell, my sons. See that you make her sure. Ne'er let my heart know marriage cheer indeed, till all the Andronicus be made away. Now will I hence to seek my lovely Moor, and let my spleenful sons this troll deflower.
Tamara exits. Aaron enters with two of Titus' sons.
Come on, my lords, the better foot before, straight will I bring you to the loathsome pit, where I spied the panther fast asleep.
My sight is very dull. Where are goats? Who's Marcius?
It's me. Okay. And mine, I promise you, were it not for shame. Well could I leave our sport to sleep a while.
What? Art thou fallen? What subtle hole is this, whose mouth is covered with rude growing briars, upon whose leaves are drops of new shed blood, as fresh as morning's dew distilled on flowers? A very fatal place it seems to me. Speak, brother. Hast thou hurt thee with the fall?
Oh, brother, with the dismallest object that ever I with sight made heart lament.
Now will I fetch the king to find them here, that he thereby may have a likely guess how these were they that made away his brother.
Aaron exits.
Why dost not comfort me and help me out from this unhallowed and blood-stained hole?
I am surprised with an uncouth fear. A chilling sweat o'erruns my trembling joints. My heart suspects more than mine eye can see.
To prove thou hast a true divining heart, Aaron, thou look down into this den, and see a fearful sight of blood and death.
Aaron is gone, and my compassionate heart will not permit mine eyes once to behold the thing whereat it trembles by surmise. Oh, tell me how it is, for ne'er till now was I a child to fear I know not what.
Lord Basanius lies in brood here, all on a heap like to the slaughtered lamb in this detested dark blood-drinking pit.
If it be dark, how dost thou notice he?
Upon his bloody finger he doth wear a precious ring that lightens all the whole, which like a taper in some monuments doth shine upon the dead man's earthly cheeks, and shows the ragged entrails of the pit. So pale did shine the moon on Erebus, when he by night lay bathed in maiden blood. O brother, help me with thy fainting hand. If fear hath made thee faint as me it hath, out of this fell devouring receptacle, as hateful as Ictitius' misty mouth.
Reach me thy hand, that I may help thee out. Or wanting strength to do thee so much good, I may be plucked into the swallowing womb of this deep pit, poor Bassianus' grave. I have no strength to pluck thee to the brink.
Nor I strength to climb without thy help.
Thy hand once more. I will not lose again till thou art here aloft, or I below. Thou canst not come to me, I come to thee.
They both fall in. Enter the Emperor and Aaron the Moor.
Along with me. I'll see what hole is here, and what he is that now is leapt into it. Say, who art thou that lately descended into this gaping hollow of the earth? Who was it? Marcius.
Anton, Marcius is on.
Yes, I got it. The unhappy son of old Andronicus, brought hither in a most unlucky hour to find thy brother Basanius dead.
My brother dead? I know thou dost but jest. He and his lady both are at the lodge upon the north side of this pleasant chase. 'Tis not an hour since I left him here.
We know not where you left him all alive, but out, alas, here have we found him dead.
Enter Tamara, Andronicus, and Lucius.
Where is my lord the king?
Here, Tamara, though grieved with killing grief.
Where is thy brother Bassianius?
Now to the bottom dost thou search my wound. Poor Basanius here lies murdered.
Then all too late I bring this fatal writ, the complot of this timeless tragedy, and wonder greatly that man's face can fold in pleasing smiles such murderous tyranny.
She gives Saturninus a letter, which he reads.
And if we miss to meet him handsomely, sweet huntsman, Basanius, 'tis we mean, do thou so much as dig the grave for him. Thou knowest our meaning. Look for thy reward among the nettles at the elder tree, which overshades the mouth of that same pit, where we decreed to bury Basanius. Do this and purchase us this lasting friend. Oh, Tamara, was ever heard thy like? This is the pit, and this is the elder tree. Look, sirs, if you can find the huntsman out that should have murdered Basanius here.
My gracious lord, here is the bag of gold.
Two of thy whelps, fell curse of bloody kind, have here bereft my brother of his life. Sirs, drag them from the pit unto the prison. There let them bide until we have devised some never heard of torturing pain for them.
What, are they in this pit? Oh, wondrous thing! How easily murder is discovered!
I, Emperor, upon my feeble knee, I beg this boon with tears not lightly shed, that this fell fault of my accursed sons, accursed if the faults be proved in them.
If it be proved, you see, it is apparent. Who found this letter? Tamara, was it you?
Andronicus himself did take it up.
I did, my lord. Yet let me be their bail, for by my father's reverend tomb I vow they shall be ready at your highness's will to answer their suspicions with their lives.
Thou shalt not bail them. See thou follow me. Some bring the murdered bodies, some the murderers. Let them speak not a word. The guilt is plain. For by my soul, were there worse end than death, that end upon them should be executed.
Andronicus, I will entreat the king. Fear not thy sons, they shall do well enough.
Come, Lucius, come. Stay not to talk with them.
Excellent. Act 2, Scene 4. Enter the Empress's sons with Lavinia, her hands cut off, her tongue cut out, and ravished.
So now go tell, and if thy tongue can speak, who 'twas that cut thy tongue and ravished thee?
Write down thy mind, bewray thy meaning so, and if thy stumps will let thee play the scribe.
See how with signs and tokens she can scowl.
Go home, call for sweet water, wash thy hands.
She hath no tongue to call, nor hands to wash, and so let's leave her to her silent walks.
And 'twere my cause, I should go hang myself.
If thou hadst hands to help thee knit the cord.
Excellent. Wind horns are heard. Enter Marcus from hunting to Lavinia. Who is this, my niece that flies away so fast? Cousin, a word, where is your husband? If I do dream, would all my wealth would wake me. If I do wake, some planet strike me down, that I may slumber in eternal sleep. Speak, gentle niece. What stern, ungentle hands hath lopped and hewed and made thy body bare of her two branches? Those sweet ornaments whose circling shadows kings have sought to sleep in, and might not gain so great a happiness as half thy love. Why dost not speak to me? Alas, a crimson river of warm blood, like to a bubbling fountain stirred with wind, does rise and fall between thy rosed lips, coming and going with thy honey breath. But sure some Tereus hath deflowered thee. At least thou shouldst detect them, cut thy tongue. And now thou turnst away thy face for shame. And notwithstanding all this loss of blood is from a conduit from their issuing spouts, yet do thy cheeks look red as Titan's face, blushing to be encountered with a cloud. Shall I speak for thee? Shall I say 'tis so? Oh, that I knew thy heart, and knew the beast, that I may rail at him to ease my mind. Sorrow concealed like an oven stopped doth burn the heart to cinders where it is. Fair Philomena, she but lost her tongue, and in a tedious sampler sowed her mind. But lovely niece, that mean is cut from thee. A craftier Terrace hast thou met withal, and he has cut those pretty fingers off that could have better sewed than Philomel. Oh, had the monster seen those lily hands tremble like aspen leaves upon a lute, and made the silken strings delight to kiss them, he would not then have touched them for his life. Or had he heard the heavenly harmony which that sweet tongue has made, he would have dropped his knife and fell asleep as Cerberus at the Thracian poet's feet. Come, let us go and make thy father blind, for such a sight will blind a father's eye. 1 hour's storm will drown the fragrant meads, What, will a whole month of tears thy father's eyes? Ah, do not draw back, for we will mourn with thee. Oh, could our mourning ease thy misery. Exit. Act 3. Enter the judges and senators with Titus' 2 sons bound, passing on the stage to the place of execution, and Titus going before, pleading.
Hear me, grave fathers, noble tribunes, stay, for pity of mine age, whose youth was spent in dangerous wars, whilst you securely slept. For all my blood in Rome's great quarrel shed, for all the frosty nights that I have watched, and for these bitter tears which now you see filling the aged wrinkles in my cheeks, be pitiful to my condemned sons, whose souls is not corrupted as 'tis thought. For 22 sons I never wept, because they died in honor's lofty bed.
Andronicus lies down, and the judges pass by him.
For these tribunes in the dust I write my heart's deep languor and my soul's sad tears. Let my tears staunch the earth's dry appetite. My son's sweet blood will make it shame and blush. O earth, I will befriend thee more with rain that shall distill from these 2 ancient ruins than youthful April shall with all his showers in summer's drought. I'll drop upon thee still in winter, with warm tears I'll melt the snow and keep eternal springtime on thy face, so thou refuse to drink my dear son's blood.
The judges have exited. Enter Lucius with his weapon drawn.
O reverend tribunes, O gentle aged men, unbind my sons, reverse the doom of death, and let me say that never wept before, my tears are now prevailing orators.
O noble father, you lament in vain, the tribunes hear not, no man is by, and you recount your sorrows to a stone.
Ah, Lucius, for thy brothers let me plead, grave tribunes, once more I entreat of you.
My gracious lord, no tribune hears you speak.
Why, 'tis no matter, man. If they did hear, they would not mock me. Oh, if they did hear, they would not pity me. Therefore I tell my sorrows bootless to the stones, who thought they cannot answer my distress, yet in some sort they are better than the tribunes, for that they will not intercept my tale. When I do weep, they humbly at my feet receive my tears and seem to weep with me. And were they but attired in grave weeds, Rome could afford no tribunes like these. A stone is as soft wax, tribunes more hard than stones. A stone is silent and offendeth not, and tribunes with their tongues doom men to death. But wherefore standest thou with thy weapon drawn?
To rescue my 2 brothers from their death, for which attempt the judges have pronounced my everlasting doom of banishment.
Oh, happy man, they have befriended thee. Why, foolish Lucius, dost thou not perceive that Rome is but a wilderness of tigers? Tigers must prey, and Rome affords no prey but me and mine. How happy art thou then from these devourers to be banished? But who comes with our brother Marcus here?
Enter Marcus and Lavinia. Titus, prepare thy noble eyes to weep, or if not so, thy noble heart to break. I bring consuming sorrow to thine age.
Will it consume me? Let me see it then.
This was thy daughter.
Why, Marcus, so she is.
Ay, me, this object kills me.
Faint-hearted boy! Arise and look upon her. Speak, Lavinia. What accursed hand hath made thee handless in thy father's sight? What fool hath added water to the sea, or brought a faggot to bright burning Troy? My grief was at the height before thou camest, and now like Nilus it disdaineth bounds. Give me a sword, I'll chop off my hands too, where they have fought for Rome and all in vain. And they have nursed this woe in feeding life. In bootless prayer have they been held up, and they have served me to a thoughtless use. Now, all the service I require of them is that one will help to cut the other. 'Tis well, Lavinia, that thou hast no hands, for hands to do Rome service is but vain.
Speak, gentle sister, who hath martyred thee?
Oh, that delightful engine of her thoughts that blab them with such pleasing eloquence is torn from forth that pretty hollow cage, where like a sweet melodious bird it sung sweet varied notes, enchanting every ear.
Oh, say thou for her who hath done this deed.
Thus I found her straying in the park, seeking to hide herself as doth the deer that hath received some unrecurring wound.
It was my dear, and he that wounded her hath hurt me more than had he killed me dead. For now I stand as one upon a rock, environed with a wilderness of sea, who marks the waxing tide grow wave by wave, expecting ever when some envious surge will in his brinish bowels swallow him. This way to death my wretched sons are gone. Here stands my other son, a banished man, and here my brother weeping at my woes. But that which gives my soul the greatest spurn is dear Lavinia, dearer than my soul. Had I but seen thy picture in this plight, it would have maddened me, but what shall I do? No, I behold thy lively body so. Thou hast no hands to wipe away thy tears, no tongue to tell me who hath martyred thee. Thy husband, he is dead, and for his death thy brothers are condemned, and dead by this. Look, Marcus, at son Lucius, look on her. When I did name her brothers, then fresh tears stood on her cheeks, as doth the honey dew on a gathered lily almost withered.
Perchance she weeps because they killed her husband? Perhaps, perchance, because she knows him innocent.
If they did kill thy husband, then be joyful, because the law hath ta'en revenge on them. No, they would not do so foul a deed. Witness the sorrow that their sister makes. Gentle Lavinia, let me kiss thy lips, or make some signs how I may do thee ease. Shall thy good uncle and thy brother Lucius and thou and I sit round about some fountain, looking all downwards to behold our cheeks, how they are stained in meadows yet not dry with miry slime left on them by a flood? And in the fountain shall we gaze so long till the fresh taste be taken from that clearness and made a brine pit with our bitter tears? Or shall we cut away our hands like thine? Or shall we bite our tongues and in dumb shows pass the remainder of our hateful days? What shall we do? Let us have that our tongues plot some device of further miseries to make us wondered at in time to come.
Sweet father, cease your tears, for at your grief see how my wretched sister sobs and weeps.
Patience, dear niece. Good Titus, dry thine eyes.
Ah, Marcus, brother, well I wot, Thy napkin cannot drink a tear of mine, for thou, poor man, hast drowned it with thine own.
Ah, my Lavinia, I will wipe thy cheeks.
Marcus, Mark, I understand her signs. Had she a tongue to speak, now would she say that to her brother which I said to thee. His napkin with her true tears all be wet can do no service on her sorrowful cheeks. Oh, what a sympathy of woe is this, as far from help as limbo is from bliss.
Enter Aaron the Moor, alone.
Titus Andronicus, my lord, my emperor, send thee this word, that if thou thy sons let Marcus, Lucius, or thyself, old Titus, or any of you chop off your hand and send it to the king, he for the same will send thee hither both thy sons alive, and that shall be the ransom for their fault.
Oh, gracious emperor, oh, gentle Aaron, did ever raven sing so like a lark that gives sweet tidings of the sun's uprise? With all my heart I'll send the emperor my hand. Good Aaron, wilt thou help to chop it off?
Stay, father, for that noble hand of thine that hath thrown down so many enemies shall not be sent. My hand will serve the turn. My youth can better spare my blood than you, and therefore mine shall save my brothers' lives.
Which of your hands hath not defended Rome, and reared aloft the bloody battle axe, writing destruction on the enemy's castle? Oh, none of both but are of high desert. My hand has been but idle. Let it serve to ransom my two nephews from their death. Then I have kept it to a worthy end.
Nay, come agree, whose hand shall go along, for fear they die before their pardon come.
My hand shall go.
By heaven, it shall not go.
Sir, strive no more. Such withered herbs as these are meet for plucking up, and therefore mine.
Sweet father, if I shall be thought thy son, let me redeem my brothers both from death.
And for our father's sake and mother's care, now let me show a brother's love to thee.
Agree between you, I will spare my hand.
Then I'll go fetch an axe.
But I will use the axe. They exit.
Come hither, Aaron, I'll deceive them both. Lend me thy hand, and I will give thee mine.
If that be called deceit, I will be honest, and never whilst I live deceive men. So, but I'll deceive you in another sort, and that you'll say ere half an hour past.
He cuts off Titus' hand. Enter Lucius and Marius again. Marcus
now
again.
Stay your strife, what shall be is dispatched. Good Aaron, give his majesty me hand. Tell him it was a hand that warded him from 1,000 dangers. Bid him bury it, more hath it merited. That let it have. As for my sons, say I account of them as jewels purchased at an easy price, and yet dear too, because I bought mine own.
I go, Andronicus, and for thy hand look by and by to have those sons with thee, their hand I meet. Oh, how this villainy doth fat me with the very thoughts of it. Let fools do good, and fair men call it grace. Aaron will have this soul black like his face.
Oh, here I lift this one hand up to heaven, and bow this feeble ruin to earth. If any power pities wretched tears, to that I call. What, wilt thou kneel with me? Do then, dear heart, for heaven shall hear our prayers, or with our sighs we'll breathe the welkins dim and stain the sun with fog as sometimes clouds when they do hug him in their melting bosoms.
Oh, brother, speak with possibilities and do not break into these deep extremes.
Is my sorrow not deep, having no bottom? Then be my passions bottomless with them.
But yet let reason govern thy lament.
If there were reason for these miseries, then into limits could I blind my woes. When heaven doth weep, doth not the earth o'erflow? If the winds rage, doth not the sea wax mad, threatening the welkin with his big swollen face? And wilt thou have a reason for this coil? I am the sea. Hark how her sighs do flow. She is the weeping welkin, I the earth. Then must my sea be moved with her sighs. Then must my earth with her continual tears become a deluge, overflown and drowned. Or why? My bowels cannot hide her woes, but like a drunkard, I must vomit them. Then give me leave, for losers will have leave to ease their stomachs with their bitter tongues.
Enter a messenger with 2 heads and a hand.
Worthy Andronicus, ill art thou repaid. For that good hand thou sent'st the emperor. Here are the heads of thy 2 noble sons, and here's thy hand, and scorn to thee sent back. Thy griefs, their sports, their resolution mocked. That woe is me to think upon my woes more than remembrance of my father's death.
Now let hot Etna cool in Sicily, and be my heart an ever-burning hell. These miseries are more than may be borne. To weep with them that weep doth ease some deal, but sorrow flouted at is double death.
The sight should make so deep a wound, and yet detested life not shrink thereat, that ever death could let life bear his name, where life hath no more interest but to breath.
Alas, poor heart, that kiss is comfortless as frozen water to a starved snake.
When will this fearful slumber have an end?
Now farewell, flattery. Die, Andronicus. Thou dost not slumber. See thy 2 sons' heads, thy warlike hands, thy mangled daughter here, thy other banished son with this dear sight struck pale and bloodless, and thy brother, I, even like a stony image, cold and numb. Ah, now no more will I control my griefs. Rent off thy silver hair, thy other hand gnawing with thy teeth, and be this dismal sight the closing up of our most wretched eyes. Now is a time to storm. Why art thou still? Why dost thou laugh? It fits not with this hour.
Why, I have not another tear to shed. Besides, this sorrow is an enemy, and would usurp upon my watery eyes and make them blind with tributaries' tears. Then which way shall I find revenge's cave? For these 2 heads do seem to speak to me, and threat me I shall never come to bliss till all these mischiefs be returned again, even in their throats that have committed them. Come, let me see what task I have to do. You heavy people, circle me about, that I may turn me to each one of you and swear unto my soul to right your wrongs. The vow is made. Come, brother, take a head, and in this hand the other will I bear. And Lavinia, thou shalt be employed in these things. Before thou, bear thou my hand, sweet wench, between thy teeth. As for thee, boy, go get thee from my sight. Thou art an exile, and thou art an exile, and thou must not stay. Hie to the Goths and raise an army there. And if you love me as I think you do, let's kiss and part, for we have much to do.
He exits. Lucius is left.
Farewell, farewell, Andronicus, my noble father. the woefulest man that ever lived in Rome. Farewell, proud Rome, till Lucius come again. He loves his pledges dearer than his life. Farewell, Lavinia, my noble sister. I would thou wert as thou tofore hast been, but now nor Lucius nor Lavinia lives, but in oblivion and hateful griefs. If Lucius live, he will requite your wrongs and make proud Saturnine and his empress beg at the gates like Tarquin and his queen. Now will I go to the Goths and raise a power to be revenged on Rome and Saturnine.
Lucius exits.
I think if we're going to have a break, this might be a good time to have a break.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Usually around Act 3, that's a good act closer. That to be revenged on Rome and Saturnine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I once played Lucius in a cross-gender production. It was awesome. So Karen, Lucius is my favorite. So just so you know.
He's quiet a lot.
I have a quick little story to tell. I heard Richard Burton one time on a talk show talking about Olivier doing a production of this back in the 40s.
Uh-huh.
And we got to the place where they were going to cut off his hand. He stood up and did it like a love scene with his hand. He caressed it and rubbed it against his face. And he turned upstage and then he slammed it down on the table and Aaron went chop and it fell off on the floor.
God.
And Burton thought, oh my God, Larry's gone and done it. And then he realized that all of this business was a way to work his hand up the sleeve and a fake hand out. So, but for the drama of going bang, chop. At any rate.
That's very cool. All right, so I have 237 right now, and so let's just see 242. Let's go to 240. We'll reconvene at 245.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
All righty.
Always fun.
And you saw my news, right? Oh, he's gone.
I'm here.
I'm messaging.
Greece, Rome, what's the difference? I like this actually.
They were a bloody lot, the Elizabethans, weren't they? Bloody minded.
These guys?
Yeah.
It's like hell on earth, my God. This and Lear, Jesus Christ. What did my friend once say? Those were not the good old days.
No.
And there was no plumbing. Everybody must have
Jennifer.
stunk.
Yep.
No bathing. Hello, who's this?
Jennifer.
You just got her?
No, I've had her for 10 years this summer.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know you had her. Come here, Coco. Come say hi. They're in separate rooms because Dib still has to take his time and he's in there. But Coco's here. Come here.
She had kittens too, but a neighbor had them. He took them, and now only one of them is still alive.
Oh, that sounds like a story I don't know if I want to hear.
Oh yeah, it is.
I don't know if I want to.
But apparently they were sick, and the vet told us that she wouldn't survive very long too because she had FIP or whatever.
Feline leukemia?
No,
leukemia. Oh.
Something else, something similar. But
That spreads now. Yeah. You have to be careful.
Yes.
Yeah, you should always, if you're bringing a new cat into a house with other cats, you should really not do that unless you've had the cat checked first. Because if it's carrying something, it'll get your other cat sick too. To be careful. My friend in Long Island, he's like a natural cat rescuer because they keep coming in the window to keep warm and to feed. So he's got 3 now he's taking care of. And he had one that had babies and he fortunately found homes for all of them. you know, he called a rescue. It's a big deal.
I see.
Olivia, come here,
Hello.
baby. You're talking about kitties. I want to show you off. Come here.
Let me see your kitty cat.
Come here. Come here, sweetheart.
Hi.
They want to see their kitty.
Oh, yeah.
Here's Olivia.
Where's your big boy? Hey, Coco, come say hi. Everybody's showing off. Come over here. She's busy looking at the window waiting for me to let her in the other room.
Now, who is that?
That's who? Your
What?
kitty?
Olivia.
Olivia.
It's not fair. All you guys
Here
have
she
got cats.
Here she
I
is.
had to leave mine in New York with my wife.
Well, she just got upstage and she said, look, what's everybody? Look. Everybody's showing off. Look. It's a cat party. Look, see the kitties? Uh-oh. I think she did. No, they don't know. Let's see. I had one cat who used to love to watch cat videos on bird videos. Birds. In the wintertime, because there were enough birds around. So she'd watch them on TV. Come here.
One of the cats we had in when we lived in Peekskill, my wife, she was a real cute little marmalade sort of thing, who loved my wife and wouldn't let her alone and tried to eat her dinner and all sorts of things. And she thought, well, it'd be nice to have some kittens. So we didn't get her done. And the first time this little thing went into heat, it was like having a banshee going around the house, wailing. It was awful.
Yes, yeah.
So poor thing was rushed to the vet.
Get them laid or get them spayed.
Yeah.
And it's not good for their health. Like I was told it's good for them to go through one cycle before getting them spayed.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Maybe, I guess and I did do that I had two girls, but one didn't quite finish her cycle because the other one was already going through her second one.
Yeah.
So I got them spayed, you know, after that. Yeah.
My daughter now, just up the road from where I am in London, has two cats. One of them's an old part Persian, big furry thing. And she's going through a real bad time because there's a black and white, nasty little hissing monster that keeps attacking her. We're going to have to try and make her an indoor cat because she's getting old now and she's not surviving that well in the big wide wicked world. Plus we've got large numbers of foxes roaming around London, and they chase the cats and hunt the cats. It's not good.
So are you the countryside there? What are you, like in the
where are you in London?
Sorry, not really countryside. It's just that about 30, 40 years ago, the foxes started moving into the cities. So now we have urban foxes all over the place. There's 3 or 4 of them around just the house area we live.
I wonder if we're going to get that in New York. Do you have a lot of coyotes?
No, there's no coyotes in the UK. They're an American delight.
So you have foxes, of course. Foxes.
We have foxes, and we have parakeets. We have parakeets. People used to buy and keep African green-necked parakeets and they would escape. So now we've got large flocks of parakeets flying around the place.
San Francisco.
Do the foxes eat the parakeets?
No, they don't get close to the parakeets, but they'll eat local dogs and they'll eat local cats quite happily. Oh, yeah. So we think
that's a big thing in San Francisco, I heard. A lot of parakeets.
Yeah. Well, you wouldn't think in London because it doesn't get as cold as New York, but it gets relatively cold. But they seem to have adapted quite well. There's a flock of about half a dozen outside my flat here. My daughter has about another 8 or 10 that hang out in a tree opposite her house. And there's a huge flock. I gave up counting at about 30 to 40 that move between Dulwich and beyond us. And they fly up in the morning and fly back at night. But they're going to have to cull them because they're violent and aggressive. And like any intruded species, they're driving all the nice little birds that we want to keep away.
Angus, do you see the chat?
Oh.
I just messaged you something. Sorry.
Oh, very cool.
Alrighty, my friends. It's 2:45.
Time to kick
So,
off. Right.
Time to start with the second half of our reading. We are, just as an update, bottom of page 65, Act 3, Scene 2. And we're picking up with some more fun with the Andronici. Oh, yes.
A lamentable history of Titus Andronicus, Act 3, Scene 2. It's a banquet. Enter Andronicus, Marcus, Lavinia, and the boy.
So now sit and look, you eat no more than will preserve just so much strength in us as will revenge these bitter woes of ours. Marcus, unknit that sorrow-wreathen knot. Thy niece and I, poor creatures, want our hands, and cannot passionate our tenfold grief with folded arms. This poor right hand of mine is left to tyrannize upon my breast, who in my heart, all mad with misery, beats in this hollow prison of my flesh. Then thus I thump it down. Thou map of woe, that thus dost talk in signs when thy poor heart beats with rageous beating, thou cannot strike it thus to make it still. Wound it with sighing, girl, kill it with groans, or get some little knife between thy teeth, and just against thy heart make thou a hole, that all the tears that thy poor eyes let fall may run into that sink, and soaking in, drown the lamenting fool in sea salt tears.
Fie, brother, fie. Teach her not thus to lay such violent hands upon her tender life.
How now? Has sorrow made thee a dotage already? Why, Marcus, no man should be mad but I. What violent hands can she lay on her life? Wherefore dost thou urge the name of hands? To bid Aeneas tell the tale twice o'er, how Troy was burnt and he made miserable? Oh, handle not the theme to talk of hands, lest we remember still that we have none. How frantically I square my talk, as if we should forget we had no hands. If Marcus did not name the word of hands. Come, let's fall to, and gentle girl, eat this. Here is no drink. Hark, Marcus, what she says. I can interpret all her muttered sign. She says she drinks no other drink but tears brewed with her sorrow, meshed upon her cheeks. Speechless complainer, I will learn thy thought. In thy dumb action will I be as perfect as begging hermits in their holy prayers. Thou shalt not sigh nor hold thy stumps to heaven, nor wink, nor nod, nor kneel, nor make a sign, but I of these will wrest an alphabet, and by still practice learn to know thy meaning.
Good grandsire, leave these bitter deep laments. Make my aunt merry with some displeasing tale.
Alas, the tender boy in passion moved doth weep to see his grandsire's heaviness.
Peace, tender sapling, thou art made of tears, and tears will quickly melt thy life away. What doest thou strike at, Marcus, with knife?
That I have killed, my lord. A fly.
Out on the murderers! Thou killt my heart, mine eyes cloyed with view of tyranny, a deed of death done on the innocent becomes not Titus' brother. Get thee gone, I see thou art not for my company.
Alas, my lord, I have but killed a fly.
What? How? If that fly had a father and a mother, how would he hang his slender gilded wings and buzz lamenting doings in the air? Poor harmless fly, that with his pretty buzzing melody came here to make us merry, and thou hast killed him.
Pardon me, sir, it was a black ill-favoured fly, like to the Empress Moor. Therefore I killed him.
Oh, then pardon me for the reprehending thee, for thou hast done a charitable deed. Give me thy knife, I will insult on him, flattering myself as if it were the Moor come hither purposely to poison me. That's for thyself, and that's for Tamara. Ah, Sarah, yet I think we are not brought so low, but that between us we can kill a fly that comes in likeness of a coal black Moor.
Alas, poor man. Grief has so wrought him, he takes false shadows for true substances.
Come, take away. Lavinia, go with me. I'll to thy closet, and go read with thee sad stories chanced in the times of old. Come, boy, and go with me. Thy sight is young, and thou shalt read when mine begin to dazzle.
They exit. Act 4. Enter young Lucius and Lavinia running after him, and the boy flies from her with his books under his arm. Enter Titus and Marcus.
Help, grandsire, help! My Aunt Lavinia follows me everywhere, I know not why. Good Uncle Marcus, see how swift she comes. Alas, sweet aunt, I know not what you mean.
Stand by me, Lucius. Do not fear thy aunt.
She loves thee, boy, too well to do thee harm.
Aye, when my father was in Rome, she did.
What means my niece Lavinia by these signs?
Fear not, Lucius, somewhat doth she mean. See, Lucius, see how much she makes of thee. Some whether would she have thee go with her. Ah, boy, Cornelia never with more care read to her sons than she hath read to thee. Sweet poetry and Tully's oratory. Canst thou now guess wherefore she plies thee thus?
My lord, I know not I, nor can I guess, unless some fit or frenzy do possess her. For I have heard my grandsire say full oft, extremity of griefs would make man mad. And I have read that Hecuba of Troy ran mad through sorrow, that made me to fear, although, my lord, I know my noble aunt loves me as dear as e'er my mother did, and would not but in fury fright my youth, which made me down to throw my books and fly, causes me perhaps, but causeless perhaps, but pardon me, sweet aunt, and madam, if my uncle Marcus go, I will most willingly attend your ladyship.
Lucius, I will.
How now, Lavinia? Marcus, what means this? Some book there is that she desires to see. Which is it, girl, of these? Open them, boy, but thou art a deeper read and better skill. Come and take choice of all my library, and so beguile thy sorrow till the heavens reveal the damned contriver of this deed. What book? Why lifts she up her arms in sequence thus?
I think she means that there was more than one confederate in the fact. Aye, more there was, or else to heaven she heaves them to revenge.
Lucius, what book is that she talketh so?
Grandsire, 'tis Ovid's Metamorphosis. My mother gave it to me.
For love of her that's gone. Perhaps she culled it from among the rest.
Soft, so busily she turns the leaves. Help her, what would she find? Lavinia, shall I read? This is the tragic tale of Philomen, and treats of terrorist treason and his rape, and rape, I fear, was root of thine annoy.
See, brother, see, note how she quotes the leaves.
Lavinia, wert thou thus surprised, sweet girl, ravished and wronged as Philomela was, forced in this ruthless, vast and gloomy woods? See, such a place there is where we did hunt, or oh, had we ne'er hunted there, patterned by that the poet here describes, by nature made for murders and for rapes.
Oh, why should nature build so foul a den unless the gods delight in tragedies?
Give signs, sweet girl, for here are none but friends. What Roman lord durst do the deed? Or slunk not Saturnine, as Tarquin erst, that left the camp to sin in Lucretia's bed?
Sit down, sweet niece. Brother, sit down by me. Apollo, Pallas, Jove, or Mercury, inspire me that I may this treason find. My lord, look here. Look here, Lavinia. He writes his name with a staff and guides it with his feet and mouth. This sandy plot is plain. Guide, if thou canst, this after me. I have writ my name, without the help of any hand at all. Cursed be that heart that forced us to that shift. And write thou, good niece, and here display at last what God will have discovered for revenge. Heaven guide thy pen to print thy sorrows plain, that we may know the traitors and the truth. She takes the staff in her mouth and guides it with her stumps, and writes.
Oh, do ye read, my lord, what she hath writ? Stuprum, Kieran, Demetrius.
What? What? The lustful sons of Tamara, performers of this heinous bloody deed?
Magni Dominator Poli, Talentus Ardus Sclera, Talentus Vides.
Oh, calm thee, gentle lord. Although I know there is enough written upon this earth to stir a mutiny in the mildest thoughts and arm the minds of infants to exclaims, my lord, kneel down with me. Lavinia, kneel. And kneel, sweet boy, the Roman Hector's hope, and swear with me, as with the woeful fear and father of that chaste dishonoured dame, Lord Junius Brutus, swear for Lucrece rape, that we will prosecute, by good advice, mortal revenge upon these traitorous Goths, and see their blood, or die with this reproach.
'Tis sure enough, and you knew how. But if you hunt these bear whelps, then beware the dam will wake, and if she wind you once, she's with a lion deeply still in league, and lulls him whilst she playeth on her back, and when he sleeps will she do what she list. You are a young huntsman, Marcus. Let it alone. And come, I will go get a leaf of brass, and with a gad of steel will write these words and lay it by. The angry northern wind will blow these sands like Sybil's leaves abroad, and where's your lesson then? Boy, what say you?
I say, my lord, that if I were a man, my mother's bedchambers should not be safe for these bad bondmen to the yoke of Rome.
Aye, that's my boy. Thy father hath It's
all right. Aye, that's my boy. Thy father hath full oft to his ungrateful country done the like.
And uncle, so will I, and if I live.
Come, go with me into mine armory, Lucius. I'll fit thee, and withal, my boy, shall carry from me to the empress' sons presents that I intend to send them both. Come, thou'll do thy message, wilt thou not?
I with my dagger in their bosoms, grandsire.
No, boy, not so. I'll teach thee another course. Lavinia, come. Marcus, look to my house. Lucius and I'll go brave it at the court. Aye, marry we will, sir, and we'll be waited on.
Titus exits. Oh, heavens. Can you hear a good man groan and not relent or not compassion him? Marcus attend him in his ecstasy, that hath more scars of sorrow in his heart than foemen's marks upon his battered shield. But yet so just that he will not revenge the heavens for old Andronicus. Exits. Act 4, Scene 2. Enter Aaron, Chiron, and Demetrius at one door, and at another door young Lucius, and another with a bundle of weapons and verses writ upon them. Chiron? Anton?
I got it. Okay. Demetrius, here's the son of Lucius. He hath some message to deliver us.
I some mad message from his mad grandfather.
My lords, with all the humblest I may, I greet your honors from Andronicus, and pray the Roman gods confound you both.
Gramercy, lovely Lucius. What's the news?
For villainies marked with rape. May it please you, my grandsire well advised hath sent by me the goodliest weapons of his armory to gratify your honorable youth, the hope of Rome, for so he bade me say. And so I do, and with his gifts present your lordships. Whenever you have need, you may be armed and appointed well, and so I leave you both like bloody villains.
Boy exits.
What's here, a scroll? And written roundabout? Let's see. Integer vitae scelerisque purus non egit mauri jaculis nec arcus.
Oh, 'tis a verse in Horace, I know it well. I read it in the grammar long ago.
Just a verse in Horace, right? You have it. Now, what a thing it is to be an assay. Here's no sound jest. The old man hath found their guilt, and sends the weapons wrapped about with lines that wound beyond their feeling to the quick. But were our witty empress well afoot, she would applaud Andronicus' conceit, but let her rest in her unrest as well a while. And now, young lords, was not a happy star, led us to Rome strangers, and more than so, captives to be advanced to this height. It did me good before the palace gate to brave the tribune in his brother's hearing.
But me more good to see so great a lord basely insinuate and send us gifts.
Had he not reason, Lord Demetrius? Did you not use his daughter very friendly?
I would we had 1,000 Roman dames at such a babe by turn to serve our lust.
A charitable wish and full of love.
Here yet lacks but your mother's for to say amen.
And that would she for 20,000 more.
Come, let us go and pray to all the gods for our beloved mother and her pains.
Pray to the devils. The gods have given us over.
Trumpets flourish.
Why do the emperor's trumpets flourish thus?
Belike for joy the emperor hath a son.
Soft who comes here.
Enter a nurse with a blackamoor child.
Oh, good morrow, lords. Tell me, did you see Aaron the Moor?
Well, more or less, or near a wit at all, here Aaron is, and what with Aaron now?
Oh, gentle Aaron, we are all undone. Now help or woe betide thee evermore.
Why, what a caterwauling dost thou keep? What dost thou wrap and fumble in thine arms?
Oh, that which I would hide from heaven's eyes. Our empress' shame and stately Rome's disgrace. She is delivered, lords, she is delivered.
To whom?
I mean, she is brought to bed.
Will God give her good rest? What hath he sent her?
A devil.
Why then she is the devil's dam, a joyful issue.
A joyless, dismal, black, and sorrowful issue. Here is the babe as loathsome as a toad. Amongst the fairest breeders of our clime, the empress sends it thee, thy sample, thy seal, and bids thee christen it with thy dagger's point.
Out, you whore, is black so base a hue? Sweet blouse, you are a beauteous blossom sure.
Villain, what hast thou done?
That which thou canst not undo.
Thou hast undone.
Chiron?
Thou hast undone our mother.
What? Thou hast undone our mother.
and therein, hellish dog, thou hast undone. Woe to her chance, and damned her loathed choice, accursed the offspring of so foul a fiend.
It shall not live.
It shall not die.
Aaron! It must. The mother wills it so.
What? Must it nurse? Then let no man but I do execution on my flesh and blood.
I'll broach the tadpole on my rapier's point. Nurse, give it me, my sword shall soon dispatch it.
Sooner this sword shall plow through thy bowels up. Stay murderous villains, will you kill your brother? Now by turning tapers of the sky that shone so brightly when this boy was got, he dies upon my scimitar's sharp point that touches this my firstborn son in here. I tell you, younglings, not Enceladus, with all his threatening band of Typhon's brood, nor great Alcides, nor the god of war shall seize this prey out of his father's hand. What, ye sanguine, shallow-hearted boys, ye white-limbed walls, ye alehouse painted signs, coal-black is better than another hue, in that it scorns to bear another hue, for all the water in the ocean can never turn the swan's black legs to white, although she lave them hourly in the flood. Tell the empress from me I am of age to keep mine own. Excuse it how she can.
Wilt thou betray thy noble mistress thus?
My mistress is my mistress. This myself, the vigor and the picture of my youth, this before all of the world do I prefer. This maugre of the world will I keep safe, or some of you shall smoke for it in Rome.
By this our mother is forever shamed.
Rome will despise her for this foul escape.
The emperor, in his rage, will doom her death.
Anton?
Oh, yes. Okay. I blush to think upon this ignominy.
Why, there's the privilege your beauty bears. Fie, treacherous hue that will betray with blushing the close enacts and counsels of the art. Here's a young lady framed of another leer. Look how the black slave smiles upon the father, as who should say, old lad, I am thine own. He is your brother's lord, sensibly fed, of that self-blood that first life to you. And from that womb where you imprisoned were, he is enfranchised and come to light. Nay, he is your brother by the sorrow's side, although my seal be stamped in his face.
Aaron, what shall I say unto the empress?
Advise thee, Aaron, what is to be done, and we will all subscribe to thy advice. Save thou the child, so we may all be safe.
Then sit we down and let us all consult. My son and I will have the wind with you. Keep there, and I'll talk at pleasure of your safety.
How many women saw this child of his?
Why so brave, lords? When we join in league, I am lamb. But if you brave the moor, the chafed boar, the mountain lioness, the ocean swells, not so as Aaron's storms. But say again, how many saw the child?
Cornelia, the midwife, and myself, and none else but the delivered empress.
The empress, the midwife, and yourself, two may keep counsel when the third's away. Go to the empress, tell her this I said. Weak, so cried pig prepared to thy spit.
He kills her.
What meanst thou, Aaron? Wherefore didst thou this?
Oh Lord, sir, 'tis a deed of policy. Shall she live to betray this guilt of ours, a long-tongued babbling gossip? No, lords, no. And now be it known to you my full intent. Not far one malicious, my countryman, his wife but yesternight was brought to bed. His child is like to her, fair as you are. Go pack with them and give the mother gold, and tell them both the circumstance of all. and how by this their child shall be advanced and be received for the empress's hair, and substituted in the place of mine to calm this tempest whirling in the court, and let the emperor dandle him for his own. Hark ye, Lord, see, I have given her physique, and you must needs bestow her funeral. The fields are near, and you are gallant grooms. This done, see that you take no longer days, but send the midwife presently to me. The midwife and the nurse will made away. Then let the ladies tattle what they please.
Aaron, I see thou wilt not trust the air with secrets.
For this care of Tamara, herself and hers are highly bound to thee.
He exits.
Now to the Goths, as swift as swallow flies, there to dispose this treasure in mine arms, and secretly to greet the empress' feelings. Come on, you thick-lipped slave, I'll bear you hence, for it is you that put us to our shifts. I'll make you feed on berries and on root, and feed on curds in a way, and suck the goat, and cabin in a cave, and bring you up to be a warrior and command the camp.
He exits. Enter Act 4, Scene 3. Enter Titus, Marcus, young Lucius, and other gentlemen with bows, and Titus bears the arrows with letters on the end of them.
Come, Marcus, come, kinsman, this is the way. Sir boy, let me see your archery. Look, you draw home enough, and 'tis there straight. Terrace, Astrea reliquit, be you remembered, Marcus. She's gone, she's fled. Sirs, take you to your tools. You, cousins, shall go sound the ocean and cast your nets. Haply you may find her in the sea, yet there's as little justice as at land. No, Publius and Sempronius, you must do it. 'Tis you must dig with mattock and with spade and pierce the inmost center of the earth. Then, when you come to Pluto's region, I pray you deliver him this petition. Tell him it is for justice and for aid, and that it comes from old Andronicus, shaken with sorrows in ungrateful Rome. Ah, Rome. Well, I made thee miserable, what time I threw the people's suffrages on him that thus doth tyrannize o'er me. Go get you gone, and pray you be careful all, and leave you not a man of war unsearched. This wicked emperor may have shipped her hence, and kinsmen, then we may go pipe for justice.
Oh, Publius, is not this a heavy case to see thy noble uncle thus distract?
Therefore, my lords, it highly us concerns by day and night to tend him carefully and feed his humor kindly as we may, till time begets some careful remedy.
Kinsman, his sorrows are past remedy. Ione with the Goths and with revengeful war take wreak on Rome for this ingratitude, and vengeance on the traitors Saturnine.
Publius, how now? How now, my masters? What, have you met with her?
No, my good lord, but Pluto sends you word. If you will have revenge from hell, you shall. Marry, for justice she is so employed. She thinks with Jove in heaven or somewhere else, so that perforce you must needs stay a time.
He doth me wrong to feed me with delays. I'll dive into the burning lake below and pull her out of Acheron by the heels. Marcus, we are but shrubs, no cedars we, no big-boned men framed of the Cyclops size, but metal, Marcus, steel to the very back, yet wrung with wrongs more than our backs can bear. And sith there's no justice in earth nor hell, we will solicit heaven and move the gods to send down justice for to wreak our wrongs. Come to this gear. You are a good archer, Marcus.
He gives them the arrows.
Ad Jovem, that's for you. Here Here, ad Apollinem, ad Martem, that's for myself. Here, boy, to Pallas. Here to Mercury, to Saturnine, to Caius. No, not to Saturnine. You were as good to shoot against the wind. To it, boy, Marcus, loose when I bid. Of my word, I have written to effect. There's not a god left unsolicited.
Kinsman, shoot all your shafts into the court. We will afflict the emperor in his pride.
Now, maesters, draw! Oh, well said, Lucius. Good boy, in Virgo's lap. Give it, Pallas.
My lord, I aim a mile beyond the moon. Your letter is with Jupiter by this.
Publius, what hast thou done? See, thou hast shot off one of Taurus's horns.
This was the sport, my lord. When Publius shot, the bull being galled, gave Ares such a knock that down fell both the rammer's horns in the court. And who should find them but the empress villain? She laughed and told the Moor she should not choose but give them to his master for a present.
Why, there it goes. God give your lordship joy.
Enter the clown with the basket and two pigeons in it.
News from heaven. Marcus, the post is come. Sirrah, what tidings? Have you any letters? Shall I have justice? What says Jupiter?
Oh, the gibbet maker. He says that he hath taken them down again, for the man must not be hanged till the next week.
But what says Jupiter, I ask thee?
Alas, sir, I know not Jupiter. I never drank with him in all my life.
Why, villain, art thou not the carrier?
I of my pigeons, sir, nothing else.
Why, didst thou not come from heaven?
From heaven? Alas, sir, I never came there. God forbid I should be so bold to press to heaven in my young days. Why, I am going with my pigeons to the tribunal plebs to take up a manner of brawl betwixt my uncle and one of the imperial's men.
My sir, that is as fit as can be to serve for your oration, and let him deliver the pigeons to the emperor from you.
Tell me, can you deliver an oration to the emperor with a grace?
Nay, truly, sir, I could never say grace in all my life.
Sirrah, come hither. Make no more ado, but give your pigeons to the emperor. By me thou shalt have justice at his hands. Hold, meanwhile, here's money for thy charges. Give me pen and ink. Sirrah, can you with a grace deliver a supplication?
Aye, sir.
Then here is a supplication for you, and when you come to him, at the first approach you must kneel, then kiss his foot, then deliver up your pigeons, and then look for your reward. I'll be at hand, sir. See you do it bravely.
I warrant you, sir. Let me alone.
Sirrah, hast thou a knife? Come, let me see. Here, Marcus, fold it in the oration, for thou hast made it like an humble suppliant. And when thou hast given it the emperor, knock at my door and tell me what he says.
God be with you, sir. I will.
Come, Marcus, let us go. Publius, follow me.
Titus and everybody else exits. Act 4, Scene 4. Enter the emperor and empress and her two sons. The emperor brings the arrows in his hand that Titus shot at him.
What, lords, what wrongs are these? Was ever seen an emperor in Rome thus overborne, troubled, confronted thus, and for the extent of eagle justice used in such contempt? My lords, you know the mightyful gods. However these disturbers of our peace buzz in the people's ears, their naught has passed, but even with law against the willful sons of old Andronicus. And what and if his sorrows have so overwhelmed his wits, shall we be thus afflicted in his reeks, his fits, his frenzies, and his bitterness? Now he writes to heaven for his redress. See, Here's to Jove, and this to Mercury, this to Apollo, this to the god of war. Sweet scrolls to fly about the streets of Rome. What's this but libeling against the Senate, and blazoning in our injustices everywhere? A goodly humor, is it not, my lords? And who would say in Rome no justice were? But if I live, his fainted ecstasies shall be no shelter to these outrages. But he and his shall know that justice lives in Saturninus' health, whom if he sleep, he'll so awake, and he in fury shall cut off the proud conspirator that lives.
My gracious lord, my lovely Saturnine, lord of my life, commander of my thoughts, calm thee, and bear the faults of Titus' age, the effects of sorrow for his valiant sons, whose loss hath pierced him deep and scarred his heart, and rather comfort his distressed plight than prosecute the meanest or the best for these contempts. Why, thus it shall become high-witted Tamara to gloze withal. But Titus, I have touched thee to the quick, thy lifeblood out. If Erin now be wise, then all is safe, the anchor's in the port. How now, good fellow, wouldst thou speak with us? Oh, sorry. Yes, how now, good fellow, wouldst thou speak with us?
Yea, forsooth, and your Mr. Ship the Imperial?
Empress I am, but yonder sits the Emperor.
'Tis he. God and Saint Stephen give you good deed. I have brought you a letter and a couple of pigeons here.
He reads the letter.
Oh, take him away and hang him presently.
How much money must I have?
Come, sir, you must be hanged.
Hanged? By Our Lady, then I have brought up a neck to a fair end.
The clown exits.
Despiteful and intolerable wrongs. Shall I endure this monstrous tyranny? I know from hence this same device proceeds. May this be born, as if his traitorous sons that by law for murder of our brother have by my means been butchered wrongfully? Go, drag the villain hither by the hair. Nor age nor honor shall shade privilege for this proud mock. I'll be thy slaughter man, sly frantic wretch that hopes to make me great and hope thyself should govern Rome and me.
Nuntius Aemilius enters.
What news with thee, Aemilius?
My lords, Rome has never had more cause. The Goths have gathered head, and with a power of high resolved men, bent to the spoil, they hither march amain under conduct of Lucius, son to old Andronicus, who threats in course of this current revenge to do as much as ever Coriolanus did.
He's more like Lucius, general of the Goths. These tidings nip me, and I hang the head as flowers with frost, grass beat down with storms. Aye, now begins our sorrows to approach. To see the common people loved so much. Myself hath often heard them say, and when I walked like a private man, that Lucius' banishment was wrongful, and they have wished that Lucius were their emperor.
Why should you fear? Is not our city strong?
Aye, but the citizens favor Lucius and will revolt for me to succor him.
King, be thy thoughts imperious like thy name. Is the sun dimmed that gnats do fly in it? The eagle suffers little birds to sing and is not careful what they mean thereby, knowing that with the shadow of his wings he can at pleasure stint their melody. Even so mayst thou, the giddy men of Rome. Then cheer thy spirit, for know thou, Emperor, I will enchant the old Andronicus with words more sweet and yet more dangerous than baits to fish or honey stalks to sheep, when, as the one is wounded with the bait, the other rotted with delicious food.
But he will not entreat his son for us.
If Tamara entreat him, then he will. For I can smooth and fill his aged ear with golden promises that were his heart almost impregnable, his old ears deaf, yet should both ear and heart obey my tongue. Go thou before to our ambassador, say that the emperor requests a parley of warlike Lucius, and appoint the meeting.
Emilius, do this message honorably, and if he stand in hostage for his safety, bid him demand what pledge will please him best.
Your bidding shall I do effectually.
He exits.
Now will I to that old Andronicus, and temper him with all the art I have, to pluck proud Lucius from the warlike Goths. And now, sweet Emperor, be blithe again, and bury all thy fears in my devices.
Then go successively and plead for him.
They exit. Act 5, Scene 1. A flourish. Enter Lucius with an army of Goths with drum and soldiers.
Prove it, warriors, and my faithful friends. I've received letters from great Rome, which signifies what hate they bear their emperor, and how desirous of our sight they are. Therefore, great lords, be as your titles witness, imperious and impatient of your wrongs, and wherein Rome hath done you any scathe, let him make treble satisfaction.
Brave slip, sprung from the great Andronicus, whose name was once our terror, now our comfort, whose high exploits and honorable deeds ingrateful Rome requites with foul contempt. Behold, in us will follow where thou leadst, like stinging bees in hottest summer's day, led by the master to the flowered fields, and be avenged on cursed Tamara. And as he saith, so say we all with him.
I humbly thank him, and I thank you all. But who comes here led by a lusty Goth?
Enter a Goth, leading of Aaron with his child in his arms.
Renowned Lucius, from our troops I strayed to gaze upon a ruinous monastery, and as I earnestly did fix mine eye upon the wasted building, suddenly I heard a child cry underneath a wall. I made unto the noise, when soon I heard the crying babe controlled of his discourse. Peace, tawny slave, half me and half thy dam. Did not thy hue bewray whose brat thou art? Had nature lent thee but my mother's look, villain, thou mightst have been an emperor. But where the bull and cow are both milk white, they never do beget a coal black calf. Peace, villain, peace. Even thus he rates the babe, for I must bear thee to a trusty Goth, who, when he knows thou art the empress babe, will hold thee dearly for thy mother's sake. With this my weapon drawn, I rushed upon him, surprised him suddenly, and brought him hither to use as you think needful of the man.
O worthy Goth, this is the incarnate devil that robbed Andronicus of his good hand. This is the pearl that pleased your empress eye, and here's the base fruit of his burning lust. Say, wall-eyed slave, whether wouldst thou convey this growing image of thy fiend-like face? Why dost not speak? What, deaf? Not a word? A halter, soldiers, hang him on this tree, and by his side this fruit of bastardy.
Touch not the boy, he is of royal blood.
Too like the sire for ever being good. First hang the child, that he may see it sprawl, a sight to vex the father's soul withal.
Get me a ladder, Lucius, save the child, and bear it from me to the empress. If thou do this, I'll shew thee wondrous things, that highly may advantage thee to hear. If thou wilt not befall what may befall, I'll speak no more, but vengeance wrought you all.
Stay on, and if it please me with thou speakst, thy child shall live, and I will see it nursed.
And if it please thee, why assure thee, Lucius, 'twill vex thy soul to hear what I shall speak. For I must talk of murders, rapes, and massacres, acts of black night, abominable deeds, complots of mischief, treason, villainies, ruthful to hear, yet piteously performed, and this shall all be buried by my death, unless thou swear to me my child shall live.
Tell on thy mind, I say thy child shall live.
Swear that he shall, and then I will begin.
Who should I swear by? Thou believest no God.
What if I do not, as indeed I do not? Yet for I know thou art religious and hast a thing within thee called conscience, with 20 popish tricks and ceremonies, which I have seen thee careful to observe. Therefore I urge thy oath, for that I know an idiot hold his Bible for a God, and keeps the oath which by that God he swears. To that I'll urge him. Therefore thou shalt vow by the same God, what God soe'er it be, thou that thou adorest and hast it in reverence, to save my boy, to nourish and bring him up, or else I will discover naught to thee.
Even by my God, I swear to thee I will.
First know thou I begot him on the empress.
Oh, most insatiate, luxurious woman.
Tut, Lucius, this was but a deed of charity, to that which thou shalt hear of me anon. 'Twas her 2 sons that murdered Basinius. They cut thy sister's tongue and ravished her, and cut her hands off, and trimmed her as thou sawest.
O detestable villain, call'st thou that trimming?
Why, she was washed and cut and trimmed, and 'twas trimmed sport for them that had the doing of it.
No, barbarous, beastly villains like thyself.
Indeed, I was their tutor to instruct them. That cotting spirit had they from their mother, as sure a card as ever won the set. That bloody mind I think they learned of me, as true a dog as ever fought at head. Well, let my deeds be witness of my word. I trained thy brethren to that guileful hole, where the dead corpse of Basinius lay. I wrote the letter that thy father found, and hid the gold within the letter mentioned. Confederate with the queen and her 2 sons, and what's not done, that thou hast cause to rue, wherein I had no stroke of mischief in it. I played the cheater for thy father's hand, and when I had it, drew my scarf apart, and almost broke my heart with extreme laughter. I pried me through the crevice of a wall, when for his hand he had his 2 sons' head. He held his tears and laughed so heartily that both minds were rain like his. And when I told the empress of this sport, she sounded almost of my pleasing tale, and for my tidings gave me 20 kisses.
What canst thou say all this and never blush?
I, like a black dog, as the saying is.
Art thou not sorry for these heinous deeds?
I, that I had not done 1,000 more. Even now I curse the day, and yet I think few come within few compasses of my curse, wherein I did not some notorious ill, as kill a man, or else devise his death, ravished a maid, or plot the way to do it, accuse some innocent, or forswear myself, set deadly enmity between 2 friends, make poor men's cattle break their necks, set fire on barns and haystacks in the night, and bid the owners quench them with their tears. Oft have I digged up dead men from their graves, and set them upright at their dear friend's door, even when their sorrows almost was forgot, and on their skins, as on the bark of trees, have with my knife carved in Roman letters, "Let not your sorrow die, though I am dead." I have not done 1,000 dreadful things as willingly as one would kill a fly, and nothing grieves me heartily indeed, but that I cannot do 10,000 more.
Bring down the devil, and he must not die for so sweet a death as hanging presently.
If there be devils, would I were a devil to live and burn in everlasting fire, so I might have your company in hell, but to torment you with my bitter tongue.
So stop his mouth and let him speak no more.
Enter Emilius.
My lord, there is a messenger from Rome desires to be admitted to your presence.
Let him come near. Welcome, Emilius. What's the news from Rome?
Continue.
Lord Lucius, and you princes of the Goths, the Roman emperor greets you all by me, and for he understands you are in arms, he craves a party at your father's house, willing you to demand your hostages, and they shall be immediately delivered.
What says our general?
Emilius, let the emperor give his pledges unto my father and my uncle Marcus, and we will come. March away.
Flourish, they all exit. Act 5, Scene 2. Enter Tamara and her 2 sons disguised.
Thus, in this strange and sad habiliment, I will encounter with Andronicus, and say I am Revenge sent from below to join with him and right his heinous wrongs. Knock at his study where they say he keeps to ruminate strange plots of dire revenge. Tell him Revenge has come to join with him and work confusion on his enemies.
They knock, and Titus opens his study door.
Who doth molest my contemplation? Is it your trick to make me ope the door, that so my sad decrees may fly away, and all my study be to no effect? You are deceived, for what I mean to do, see here in bloody lines I have set down, and what is written shall be executed.
Titus, I am come to talk with thee.
No, not a word. How can I grace my talk, wanting a hand to give it action? Thou hast the odds of me, therefore no more.
If thou didst know me, thou wouldst talk with me.
I am not mad, I know thee well enough. Witness this wretched stump, witness these crimson lines, witness these trenches made by grief and care, witness the trying day and the heavy night, witness all sorrows, that I know thee well for our proud empress, mighty Tamara. Is not thy coming for my other hand?
Know thou, sad man, I am not Tamara. She is thy enemy, and I thy friend. I am Revenge sent from the infernal kingdom to ease the gnawing vulture of the mind by working wreakful vengeance on my foes. Come down and welcome me to this world's light. Confer with me of murder and of death. There's not a hollow cave or lurking place, no vast obscurity or misty veil, where bloody murder or detested rape can couch for fear, but I will find them out, and in their ears tell them my dreadful name, Revenge, which makes the foul offenders quake.
Art thou Revenge, and art thou sent to me to be a torment to mine enemies?
I am. Therefore come down and welcome me.
Do me some service ere I come to thee. Lo, by thy side where rape and murder stands, now give me some assurance that thou art Revenge, stab them, or tear them on thy chariot wheels, and then I'll come and be thy wagoner, and whirl along with thee about the globes, provide thee 2 proper palfreys as black as jet, to hail thy vengeful wagons. Swift away and find out murder in their guilty cares. And when thy car is loaden with their heads, I will dismount and by the wagon wheel trot like a servile footman all day long, even from Epton's rising in the east until his very downfall in the sea. And day by day I'll do this heavy task, so thou destroy rapine and murder there.
These are my ministers, and come with me.
Are them thy ministers? What are they called?
Rape and murder, therefore call it so, 'cause they take vengeance of such kind of men.
Good Lord, how like the Empress' sons they are, and you, the Empress. But we worldly men have miserable, mad, mistaking eyes. Oh, sweet Revenge, now I do come to thee, and if one arm's embracement will content thee, I will embrace thee in it by and by.
This closing with him fits his lunacy. Whate'er I forge to feed his brain-sick fits, do you uphold and maintain in your speeches. For now he firmly takes me for Revenge, and being credulous in this mad thought, I'll make him send for Lucius his son, and whilst I at a banquet hold him sure, I'll find some cunning practice out of hand to scatter and disperse the giddy Goths, or at the least make them his enemies. See, here he comes, and I must ply my theme.
Oh, long have I been forlorn, and all for thee. Welcome, dread fury, to my woeful house. Rapine and murder, you are welcome too. How like the Empress and her sons you are. Well, are you fitted? Had you but a more, could not all hell afford you such a devil? For well I wot the empress never wags, but in her company there is a more. And would you represent our queen aright, if it were convenient you had such a devil? But welcome as you are. What shall we do?
What wouldst thou have us do, Andronicus?
Show me a murderer, I'll deal him. Show me a villain that hath done a rape, and I am sent to be revenged on him.
Show me 1,000 that have done thee wrong, and I'll be revenged on them all.
Look round about the wicked streets of Rome, and when thou findest a man that's like thyself, good murder stab him, he's a murderer. Go thou with him, and when it is thy hap to find another that is like to thee, good rapine, stab him, and he is a ravisher. Go thou with them, and in the emperor's court there is a queen attended by a Moor. Well mayest thou know her by thine own proportion, for up and down she doth resemble thee. I pray thee do on them some violent death. They have been violent to me and mine.
Well hast thou lessoned us, this shall we do. But would it please thee, good Andronicus, to send for Lucius, thy thrice valiant son, who leads towards Rome a band of warlike Goths, and bid him come and banquet at thy house? When he is here, even at thy solemn feast, I will bring in the empress and her sons, the emperor himself and all thy foes, and at thy mercy shall they stoop and kneel, and on them shalt thou ease thy angry heart. What says Andronicus to this device?
Enter Marcus.
Marcus, my brother, 'tis sad Titus calls. Go, gentle Marcus, to thy nephew Lucius. Thou shalt inquire him out among the Goths. Bid him repair to me, and bring with him some of the chiefest princes of the Goths. Bid him encamp his soldiers where they are. Tell him the emperor, and the empress too, feasts at my house, and he shall feast with them. This do thou for my love, and so let him, as he regards his aged father's life.
This will I do, and soon return again.
Now will I hence about thy business, and take my ministers along with me?
Nay, nay, let rape and murder stay with me, or else I'll call my brother back again, and cleave to no revenge but Lucius.
What say you, boys? Will you bide with him, whilst I go tell my lord the emperor how I have governed our determined jest? Yield to his humor, smooth and speak him fair, and tarry with him till I turn again.
I know them all, though they suppose me mad, and will o'erreach them in their own devices. A pair of cursed hellhounds, and they're down.
Madam, depart at pleasure, leave us here.
Farewell, Andronicus, revenge now goes, to lay a complot to betray thy foes.
I know thou do it, and sweet revenge, farewell.
Aaron.
Anton?
Yeah. Okay. Show me a villain that hath done a rape, and I am sent to be revenged on him.
No, tell us, old man.
Tell us what page?
109.
Okay, 109.
Near the bottom.
Okay. Tell us, old man, how shall we be employed?
But I have work enough for you to do. Publius, come hither, Caius and Valentine.
What is your will?
Know you these two?
The Empress' sons? I take them, Chiron and Demetrius.
Fie, Publius, fie, thou art too much deceived. The one is murder, rape is the other's name, and therefore bind them, gentle Publius, Caius and Valentine, lay hands on them. Oft have you heard me wish for such an hour, and now I find it. Therefore bind them sure.
Chiron.
Okay, Villains forbear, we are the Emperor's sons.
And therefore do we what we are commanded. Stop close their mouths, let them not speak a word. Is he sure bound? Look that you bind them fast.
He exits. Enter Titus Andronicus with a knife, and Lavinia with a basin.
Come, come, Lavinia, look, thy foes are bound. Sirs, stop their mouths, let them not speak to me, but let them hear what fearful words I utter. Oh, villains, Chiron and Demetrius, here stands the spring whom you have stained with mud. This goodly summer with your winter mixed. You killed her husband, and for that vile fault, 2 of her brothers were condemned to death. My hand cut off, and made a merry jest. Both her sweet hands, her tongue, and that more dear than hands or tongue, her spotless chastity, inhumane traitors, you constrained and forced. What would you say if I should let you speak? Villains, for shame you could not beg for grace. Hark, wretches, how I mean to martyr you. This one hand yet is left to cut your throats, whilst that Lavinia 'tween her stumps doth hold the basin that receives your guilty blood. You know your mother means to feast with me, and calls herself revenge, and thinks me mad. Hark, villains, I will grind your bones to dust, and with your blood and it I'll make a paste, and of the paste a coffin I will rear, and make 2 pasties of your shameful heads, and bid that strumpet of your unhallowed dam, like to the earth, swallow her increase. This is the feast that I have bid her to, and this is the banquet she shall surfeit on. For worse than Philomel, you used my daughter, and worse than Progne, I will be revenged. And now prepare your throats, Lavinia. Come, receive the blood, and when that they are dead, let me go grind their bones to powder small, and with this hateful liquor temper it, and in that paste let their viled heads be baked. Come, come, be everyone officious to make this banquet, which I wish might prove more stern and bloody than the centaur's feast.
He cuts their throats.
Now bring them in, for I'll play the cook, and see them ready against their mothers come.
They exit. Act 5, Scene 3. Enter Lucius, Marcus, and the Goths.
Uncle Marcus, since 'tis my father's mind that I repair to Rome, I am content.
And ours with thine befall, what fortune will.
Good uncle, take you in this barbarous Moor, this ravenous tiger, this accursed devil. Let him receive no sustenance. Fetter him till he be brought unto the emperor's face for testimony of her foul proceedings. And see the ambush of our friends be strong, or ere the emperor means no good to us.
Aaron. Aaron?
What?
Some devil whisper curses in my ear and prompt me that my tongue may utter forth the venomous malice of my swelling heart.
Away, inhumane dog, unhallowed slave. Sirs, help our uncle to convey him.
Flourish.
The trumpets show the emperor is at hand.
Sound trumpets. Enter an emperor and empress with tribunes and others.
What? Hath the firmament more suns than one?
What boots it thee to call thyself a son?
Rome's emperor and nephew, break thy pall. These quarrels must be quietly debated. The feast is ready, with the careful Titus hath ordained to an honourable end, for peace, for love, for league, and good to Rome. Please you therefore draw nigh and take your places.
Marcus, we will.
The table is brought in. Titus enters dressed like a cook, placing the meat on the table, and Lavinia with a veil over her face.
Welcome, my gracious lord. Welcome, dread queen. Welcome, ye warlike Goths. Welcome, Lucius. And welcome all. Although the cheer be poor, 'twill fill your stomachs. Please you eat of it.
Why art thou thus attired, Andronicus?
Because I would be sure to have all well to entertain your highness and your empress.
We are beholding to you, good Andronicus.
And if your highness knew my heart, you were. My lord the emperor resolved me this. Was it well done of rash Virginius to slay his daughter with his own right hand, because she was enforced, stained, and deflowered?
It was, Andronicus.
Your reason, mighty lord?
Because the girl should not survive her shame, and by her presence still renew his sorrows.
A reason mighty, strong, and effectual. A pattern, precedent, and lively warrant. For me, most wretched, to perform the like. Die, die, Lavinia, and thy shame with thee, and with thy shame thy father's sorrow died.
He kills her.
What hast thou done? Unnatural and unkind.
Killed her for whom my tears have made me blind. I am as woeful as Virginius was, and have 1,000 times more cause than he.
What was she ravished? Tell who did the deed.
Will please you eat? Will please your highness feed?
Why hast thou slain thine only daughter?
Not I. Was Chiron and Demetrius. They ravished her and cut away her tongue, and 'twas they that did her all this wrong.
Go, fetch them hither to us presently.
Why, they are both. Why, there they are both, baked in that pie, whereof their mother daintily hath fed, eating the flesh that she herself hath bred. 'Tis true, 'tis true. Witness my knife sharp point.
He stabs the empress.
Die, thy frantic wretch, for this accursed deed!
And the son's eye behold his father bleed. There's meed for meed, death for deadly deed.
Oh.
You sad-faced men, people and sons of Rome, by uproars severed like a flight of fire, scattered by winds and high tempestuous gusts. Let me teach you how to knit again this scattered corn into one mutual sheaf, these broken limbs again into one body.
Let Rome herself be bane unto herself, and she whom mighty kingdoms curtsy to, like a forlorn and desperate castaway, do shameful execution on herself. But if my frosty signs and chaps of age, brave witnesses of true experience, cannot induce you to attend my words, speak Rome's dear friend, as erst our ancestor, when with his solemn tongue he did discourse to lovesick Dido, sad attending ear, the story of that baleful burning night when subtle Greeks surprised King Priam's Troy. Tell us what Sinon hath bewitched our ears, or who hath brought the fatal engine in that gives our Troy, our Rome, the civil wound. My heart is not compact of flint nor steel, nor can I utter all our bitter grief, but floods of tears will drown my oratory. and break my very utterance, even in the time when it should move you to attend me most, lending your kind hand commiseration. Here is a captain, let him tell the tale. Your hearts will throb and weep to hear him speak.
This noble auditory, be it known to you that cursed Chiron and Demetrius were they that murdered our emperor's brother, and they it were that ravished our sister. For their fell faults our brothers were beheaded, our father's tears despised and basely cozened, of that true hand that fought Rome's quarrel out, and sent her enemies unto the grave. Lastly, myself unkindly banished, the gates shut on me, and turned weeping out to beg relief among Rome's enemies, who drowned their enmity in my true tears, and opt their armies to embrace me as a friend. And I am turned forth, be it known to you, that I have preserved her welfare in my blood, and from her bosom took the enemy's point, sheathing the steel in my adventurous body. Alas, you know I am no vaulter, I. My scars can witness, dumb though they are, that my report is just and full of truth. But soft, methinks I do digress too much, citing my worthless praise. Oh, pardon me, for when no friends are by, men praise themselves.
Now is my turn to speak. Behold this child, of this was Tamara delivered, the issue of an irreligious Moor, chief architect and plotter of these woes. The villain is alive in Titus' house, and as he is, to witness this is true. Now judge what course had Titus to revenge these wrongs, unspeakable, past patience, or more than any living man could bear. Now you have heard the truth. What say you, Romans? Have we done aught amiss? Show us wherein, and from the place where you behold us now, the poor remainder of Andronicus will hand in hand all headlong cast us down, and on the ragged stones beat forth our brains, and make a mutual closure of our house. Speak, Romans, speak, and if you say we shall, lo, hand in hand, Lucius and I will fall.
Come, come, thou reverent man of Rome, and bring our emperor gently in thy hand. Lucius, our emperor, for well I know the common voice to cry, it shall be so.
Lucius, all hail Rome's royal emperor. Go, go into old Titus' sorrowful house, and hither hail that misbelieving Moor to be adjudged of some direful slaughtering death as punishment for his most wicked life. Lucius, all hail to Rome's gracious governor.
Thanks, gentle Romans. May I govern so to heal Rome's harms and wipe away her woe. But gentle people, give me aim a while, for nature puts me to a heavy task. Stand all aloof, but uncle, draw you near to shed obsequious tears upon this trunk. Oh, take this warm kiss on thy pale cold lips, these sorrowful drops upon thy blood-stained face, the last true duties of thy noble son.
Tear for tear, and loving kiss for kiss, thy brother Marcus tenders on thy lips. Oh, were the sum of these that I should pay countless and infinite, yet would I pay them.
Come hither, boy. Come, come and learn of us, to melt in showers. Thy grandsire loved thee well. Many a time he danced thee on his knee, sung thee asleep, his loving breast, thy pillow. Many a matter hath he told to thee, meet and agreeing with thine infancy. In that respect, like a loving child, shed some small drops from thy tender spring, because kind nature doth require it so. Friends should associate friends in grief and woe. Bid him farewell, commit him to the grave, do him that kindness, and take leave of him.
Oh, grandsire, grandsire, even with all my heart would I were dead, so you did live again. Oh, Lord, I cannot speak to him for weeping. My tears will choke me if I open my mouth.
Descend, Andronicus, have done with woes. Give sentence on this execrable wretch that hath been breeder of these dire events.
Set him breast deep in the earth and famish him. Let him stand and rave and cry for food. If anyone relieves or pities him for the offense, he dies. This is our doom. Come stay to see him fastened in the earth.
Oh, why should wrath be mute and fury dumb? I am no baby. I that with base prayers I should repent the evils I have done, 10,000 worse than ever yet I did. Would I perform if I might have my will? If one good deed in all my life I did, I do repent it from my very soul.
Some loving friends convey the emperor hence, and give him burial in his father's grave. My father and Lavinia shall forthwith be closed in our household's monument. As for that heinous tiger, Tamara, no funeral rite, nor man in mournful weeds, no mournful bell shall ring her burial, but throw her forth to beasts and birds of prey. Her life was beast-like and devoid of pity, and being so, shall have like want of pity. See justice done on Aaron and that damned Moor, from whom our heavy haps had their beginning. Then afterwards to order well the state, that like events may ne'er it ruminate.
They all exit. End of play. Yay!
Yay.
Cool, guys. It's hard work doing this one.
Nicely done, friends.
Yay. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks
Thank
all.
you, everybody.
Bye.
Yes, apologies to myself for screwing up some of the text and missing one really good joke.
Oh, really? Oh, dear.
There's a great joke
No.
between him and when she says he's kept her up all night before the hunt.
Okay.
And
Now,
then I'll
screwing
give
up
up
the
the work.
text is okay, but missing good jokes is unforgivable.
I know, right?
Yeah.
There's only one good one, isn't it?
I know. This is Titus. This is Titus, for God's sake. You need every joke you can get.
It needs it. Lear has
I-
more humor than this.
Marin, I loved the red
Oh.
cords hanging down. They were fabulous.
It's my all-purpose scarf. It does
Oh,
everything.
that was great. Yeah,
That
that
was
was
cool.
really good.
Yeah, yeah. They're ribbon.
Very nice job as Titus.
Yeah. Cool.
Very nice.
Well done,
done.
Mark.
Congratulations.
Bravo,
very
bravo.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Yeah,
Thank
it
you.
pays to remember that I believe that in Shakespeare's day, this was his most popular play.
That was a
my
big
God.
hit.
Well,
That's
they
what
like-
I read that too, yeah.
They
Big
love
hit.
the
Then it
blood
fell
and
way out
thunder.
of favor.
Didn't it run for 3 years or something?
Oh, it was his like it was like his most popular thing. They
Well,
loved
you
it.
know,
Lots of
hands being cut off, tongues
Yeah.
being cut out. They really
Very
love
sick.
that shit.
Yes.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome stuff.
Way back with Instant Shakespeare, I did Titus in a production down in the East Village, I think in the Cat 21 Studio Theatre. And I had no idea what the hell I was doing because being a lazy actor, I don't read things beforehand. And being Instant Shakespeare, you certainly don't read things beforehand. And I had this girl playing Lavinia who just blew me out the water. She did all the kind of things that you did, and suddenly I'm getting all this acting feedback. with no lines that she has. It was brilliant. I loved it.
There was a production I saw in a book about this where Lavinia had red cloth streaming down from her hands. Blood.
Yep.
Yep.
There you are.
I think
that was Peter Brooks.
That's that production I was talking about. Peter Brook directed it.
Peter Brook is incredible.
He is.
Lovely
the
stuff.
film, Julie Taymor's film is quite good. It really is quite good.
Julie Taymor.
Yeah. Yeah, with Anthony Hopkins as Titus.
Not a huge fan of Taymor.
I didn't know it was Julie Taymor.
Not always, but it was a good one.
Okay.
It was a good one.
Yeah, I saw a little thing where he said something like it was like playing Lear, a combination of Lear, Hannibal Lecter, and Barney.
Oh, dear God. Hey, thanks everybody. Good to meet you all. Good to work with you again.
Nice to inaugurate this season.
What time is it over there in London now? 8 o'clock?
It's about 5 after 9.
Oh, right. 5 hours.
Yeah, 5-hour shift.
Tell Paul we missed him.
Yeah.
Yes, I will.
Yes.
All right, friends. Well, thank you all so very much. Great reading.
Thank you.
Look forward to Paul's emails and notices, etc.
Thanks, Marin.
Thanks for hosting.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay.
Have fun.
Bye-bye.
Talk to you soon, hopefully.
So, okay. Bye, everyone.